Leader, Tiger Communications proudly presents SportsCall. It's time to join our SportsCall crew as they discuss the latest headlines and happenings around Auburn and the entire sports world. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We're taking phone calls all show long and want to talk about whatever you've got on your mind. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, Sports Call.
Welcome, Auburn, into the Friday edition of Sports Call, live on Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. My name is Ryan Lavoie, the host of the program. Today, I am joined by Connor Knight and Brooks Childress the full 3 hours as we broadcast live from our Auburn Bank studios, all of the traditional ways on Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app, but also today, now officially live on YouTube and on Facebook. It is at SportsCall AU and SportsCall Auburn, back both on YouTube and Facebook. We are broadcasting live visually for the first time inside of our Auburn Bank studios. So we got the individual cameras. Brooks is staring into one and putting his finger near one at the moment. And now we can describe to you visually some of the things going on during our program these days. Again, we are certainly thankful for the work that Jared Dillard has done, also J.J. Jackson, but Jared kind of spearheading getting this thing up and running. And, of course, he was in Tampa with us last week. That's why we were on for 3.5 or 3 1/3 shows until the SEC, again, decided that was enough internet and Ethernet for 1 week. But we are now going to be, again, theoretically, from this point forward, broadcasting live at least on YouTube and on Facebook. And so you'll be able to watch the show now on our Sports Call Auburn pages on Facebook and on YouTube, and maybe another exciting announcement or two with that in the coming weeks also. But it's now visual, so you can join us all the traditional ways and more to our now live in-studio Sports Call shows. Coming up on today's program, we will continue to discuss all things football, college football, that is, with Auburn beginning fall practice next week. We'll talk a little Auburn. We'll get into our next school in the SEC countdown. I falsely said yesterday it was Kentucky. That's because I voted Kentucky 15th.
Same.
But that's not what the media as a whole voted. They voted for the Mississippi State Bulldogs to be 15th, so that's the team we will preview this afternoon. Again, we'll go Mississippi State as we go in order from 16 to 1. Also, we'll replay 2 final interviews for you from last week. Coming up about 4:15 or so, we will air the interview from Brandon Marcello, which was a really good one last week. And in the 5 o'clock hour, around 5:15, we will air the interview from Chuck Oliver. Of course, you can hear the Chuck Oliver Show on our sister station, AM 1230. WAUD. So that is our game plan for today. And also, we will wrap up the program as we often try to do with a what to watch for over the weekend. We'll try to give you some updates too on the Rocket Classic as Jackson Coyman try to make a move today and guarantee his spot into the FedEx Cup playoffs. So we'll discuss that a little bit today. Also, Ryan, Brooks, and Connor with you here today. If you want to give us a phone call, 334-887-3401 locally, or toll-free 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Brooks Childress, I'm glad you're back from company business. How are you doing today?
Yeah, hopefully folks will get to see that company business and experience that company business in the coming days around our social channels. But that's as much as I'll say about the company business I was at yesterday. But yeah, it was nice. It's been a couple days since I've been on. I hate that I missed the Arkansas preview yesterday.
It was fun.
I did catch a little bit of it, so I'm upset that I missed talking about Ryan Silverfield's first year.
You wanted to talk about bacon?
I sure do. I love talking about bacon. Anything meat related. I went to a barbecue spot for lunch today, and so I would love to talk about the hogs. But anyway, so it's great to be back on. Excited that we are on these cameras. So if ever I'm talking to the good thing about where Jared's got the cameras positioned, if I'm talking directly to Ryan, I'm looking directly into the camera, so it looks like I'm looking directly into folks at home or wherever they're watching it. Right? Yeah, Ryan's got to like look over to try to see me. So it's exciting. We're hopefully this is something that can go off without a hitch, and we don't have any sort of like problems, and make sure that we're back and having a grand old time. Knock on wood, as Connor just did.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been a great couple days. Getting closer and closer to that MLB trade deadline. Obviously, waiting to see if the Braves are going to make any sort of moves here. Starting to get the tweets that X starting pitcher, X pitcher, X player have been scratched from starts, and so you kind of start to think, what are these guys about to get moved? And you start to try to read the tea leaves and see where folks are going. So it's starting to get the traffic's about to pick up a little bit here over the next over the weekend, hopefully. So that's going to be awesome. And we keep creeping closer and closer to live football. We're now under a week away from live football being back on our TVs. The Hall of Fame game next week for NFL, and then get closer and closer to fall camp for Auburn football. We're under a week away from that starting up as well. It's awesome. And it should be a great show today. Can't wait to chat with everybody and have a fantastic Friday.
Connor Knight, how are you today?
I'm fantastic as well. It's just been busy. Got a lot to do. Got to clean up everywhere. Seems like just that time of the year. But it's been good. It's just still too hot. But like Brooks said, it's the last day of the month, in a month without football. So I'm just so happy. There's words can't express how happy I am that football's finally around. It makes the weekends mean everything. It matters so much. So it's really fun. I'm excited to talk about everything.
Yeah, 29 days from week 0, 36 days from Auburn's opener against Baylor. Again, really easy now to keep track of and get that countdown again, under a month from the first games of the college football season on August the 28th. And we're certainly, again, we're in preview mode. I mean, I consider this now preseason sports call. We are warming up. We are starting to look at each and every team in the SEC. We'll be looking at the Power 4 conferences once we conclude this. I mean, we're in breakdown. We're in preview season. So we're excited to be here. And again, we're excited to welcome the visual audience into our Auburn Bank studios here as we close out the month of July and open up another season on the Plains. And I also want to say, too, because, we usually get to we get in the preview season and we get to this part of it. But whether it be we're talking Auburn in fall practice, or we're talking these SEC previews, again, this is the time where I think we start to have a lot more fun. I think that, as with everyone, we have our things in the summer that we enjoy, but they are not necessarily the mainstream things, or not necessarily the most talked about things. And I think I would just say that, again, if you want to do something non-sports related, these are the last few weeks to do it, because we get into the time
it's real busy. Yeah,
we get into the time here where it is all great stuff, but it's going to get really busy. So just wanted to say, again, we are certainly getting happier and happier on the show, but also, again, things will be busy. And so I encourage everyone, if you need another couple of weeks to enjoy non-sports things,
go watch The Odyssey right now.
Yes,
you don't have very much more time.
Watch Spider-Man.
Yep.
Came out
Get
last
in the movie
night.
theater now. It's not going to be happening in a couple months.
Indeed. I co-sign that. All right, let's get into today's program. We'll begin by going to the Sports Call phone line to open things up. 334-887-3401 locally, or toll-free 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Leading us off,
Ward Dam Steve.
Retired Ward Dam Steve joins us. Steve, how are you doing today?
Well, you guys made my morning, and now you're making my afternoon, because I caught you and Brooks Childress on open mic on your Sports Call YouTube channel, and I haven't laughed this much in quite some time. I identify with you guys because even though you knew you were mic'd up, there you were at the snack buffet doing SC Media Days, and I think one of your comments was, well, I really don't need to be looking at all this stuff. I don't need to be, and then you finally, beyond shame and embarrassed me, just went ahead and said, "The heck with it." So that's me. You know, I tell myself, okay, this time I'm going to have better self-control. I said, "No, not going to happen." And so that was hilarious. I watched you guys eat all those good snacks. So I'm watching you guys right now. So tell me, 'cause I'm not that tech savvy. There's like a 10-second delay between what I'm watching you on your YouTube channel, what you're saying, versus on the radio show. Is there anything I need to do to make that sync better?
I'm
don't
not sure
think
if
so. I
that's
think there's a
something
built-in
anyone can
sync,
control. Yeah.
That's just the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, that's same concept as with TV and streaming, right? Like even when you see it on your cable box, it's still, I think we've said 7 or 8 seconds behind what's happening in real life, and you know, streaming's even further. So, you know, I'll give you a little wave here right now, Steve, and you can time it to make it exactly short. But yeah, I mean, it's really nothing any of us can do to make it any closer than that.
Okay, well, thanks for waving at me. But I wish you could see me, guys. But probably it's best that you don't. So tell me something here. Will this be available every show, or just some specific selected shows?
We're planning on making it every show. You know, as you know, we've done some of our remote shows on camera, and that's been going on, you know, very seldomly in the past. We've really ramped it up this summer. There's SEC Media Days on camera, but yeah, we're planning, unless there's something technologically really wrong, we plan on doing this moving forward.
All right. Well, let's jump into sports, guys. I got an email. It was from, I guess, Bonnegitter, from Auburn, and they asked the Auburn fans to vote on these categories that apparently is being done by USA Today Sports. It's called Reader's Choice Awards. And so they have a number of categories like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 categories you can vote for your team. See if they end up winning those categories. Now, of those 9 categories, there's 2 of them, guys, Auburn, because they'll say that these the teams you can vote for were selected by 20 panels of experts, either from coaches, from sports people, and there were 2 of them that Auburn did not make the list for. Here are the categories: best college football stadium, best tailgating experience, best walkout tradition, best college for sports fans, best college marching band, best college mascot, best college sports town, best college sports tradition, and best fight song. Which 2 of those categories do you think Auburn was left out of?
That's a good question, because it's kind of asking us which 2 do you think are the weakest 2 performing.
The thing that I would think is, do they consider the Eagle Flight walkout? Because it's not really the walkout.
Yeah. No.
It's a pre.
No, that made it. That made the list.
Okay.
Because I was thinking that too, just the generic, but
fight maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
But then you have like Michigan's, and I do love Michigan. Some like USC's, some of those are really classic.
All right, so what's the other category that Auburn didn't make?
Is tailgating in there?
I'd be so surprised.
They made tailgating.
I'd be so surprised if tailgating wasn't in there.
I'm just trying to think. There's so many like iconic tailgate spots, like the Grove and like all these different spots, and Auburn doesn't have a name. No, stadium. I think Stadium would have made it.
But there's just
definitely
been a lot of
mascot.
disrespect for Jordan Hare Stadium recently.
Mascot definitely would have.
I'd hope College Town would.
Yeah.
No, that's the category they didn't make.
Wow.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised.
I would have gone. I mean, the quote weakest 2 of the 9, or however many it was, I would have probably gone the walkout. If you're not talking the Eagle Flying, if you're talking the Eagle Flying, I'm not talking walkout. And then the fight song would be fair, or the tailgating. That would be kind of the 2 I would put on the line, because tailgating in general around the SEC is so robust. You know, Auburn's is really good, but you know we've been around the league and seen other tailgate
LSU,
setups that are also very impressive too. So, you know, I'm disappointed by the College Town though, because I get you even hear a lot of Alabama people saying that they love the town, they just not love the school. But you know, so I'm a little surprised by that. So do you know how many finalists there were?
Was it 1? Yeah, 10 of them. Okay. They had 10 listed, and you just mentioned our rival. They made it. They made the list.
For College Town.
College Town.
Please.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's backwards
That's
because
very backwards.
Because I've been to their campus, guys, and James, anybody, Luke, you want to call me in? Fine. But I thought that place is nowhere nothing compared to our campus.
Well, but it's not
College Town.
That's not really. Those are still two different things, though. Like, I mean, it depends on what campus style you like, but that the town incorporates more than just the campus. So when I think,
I understand. True.
When I think town, I think of downtown Auburn and Toomer's Corner and all that. And
right.
when I think of Tuscaloosa as a whole, I start thinking traffic in a city that is not necessarily it bleeds into Northport, and it's not necessarily the most robust metropolis. So I think, I mean, again, I'm surprised. I'd flip those. I don't really agree with that.
Okay, Ann Arbor made it. Athens, Georgia made it.
Yep.
Baton Rouge, Chapel Hill, Columbus, Durham, North Carolina, Eugene, Oregon, Gainesville made it. Knoxville, Lexington made it.
I've never been to half of them, so I can't speak to places.
Lincoln,
I'm not
Nebraska, Madison, Wisconsin, Missoula, Montana made it. Norman, Oklahoma, Oxford, Mississippi, South Bend, Indiana, Tempe, Arizona, Tuscaloosa, and University Park, Pennsylvania. That was it.
Oh, that was more than 10.
That was, I think, 20.
Yeah.
Tempe makes sense just because how big of a party school it is.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to speak to the ones I haven't been to.
I guess Tuscaloosa is the party thing. I would really have to.
I guess. Yeah. I guess.
So much of that. So sticking with college, guys, Jason Caldwell had a column this morning talking about the upcoming practices and preseason stuff that's going on, and he talked about where are the players primarily being located, because apparently the dorms now are no longer, I guess, in dorms except for the freshmen. I wasn't aware of that. He said, in fact, most of them, he said, are either in condos or in apartments or even houses. I said, wow, that's interesting. And when he went on to read this, talks about the camaraderie, the use of the Goish is doing this. For a week and a half until classes start, he says, on August 17th, the Auburn Tigers will use a local hotel as a home base for its camp. Guys, are you aware of that? And if you are, do you know what local hotel that might be?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I was not aware of that. I could take a guess or two on what the hotel would be, but I think that that's interesting.
Yeah,
I especially for a team that's not going to be playing on the road till October.
I kind of like it. I like the
it's
NFL vibe.
I would say that's what I was about to say. It's very NFL training camp vibes, because in the NFL everybody lives in their own houses, and Atlanta, Kansas City, New England, Tampa Bay, everybody has their own houses. And then preseason training camp, they all go to like these dorm things and kind of stay like they were in college and can build the team chemistry. So it's very, as the sport has gotten more professional, that's another NFL-esque kind of thing that he's brought in, which I don't think it's a bad thing, especially if you, like you said, if the article references everybody not living in dorms like they used to, and it's mainly just the freshmen, I think it's a good thing to help build that team chemistry early.
Yeah, to me, it's a disappointing. It's saddening to me because I'm old school that they're having to resort to this to build up camaraderie. But here's their schedule, according to Jason. He said the team will come to campus in the morning for practices, have meetings, lunch, and dinner together before going back to the hotel at night for meetings and lights out. So that's their routine.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you've got to try now more than ever to do some things to kind of force camaraderie. And again, I'm not saying that, when you truly build team chemistry and camaraderie, again, it's not all going to be forced, but you're trying to create those situations because, we have so many players that have never played together. And that's the state of the sport for most schools. And obviously Auburn is one of the top examples right now because they had a coaching change. So they turned over a lot more than average of their roster. So, I think that teams will get creative to try to get these teams to gel quicker, whether it be on or off the field.
So I'm just guessing here. You tell me if I'm guessing wrong. That the expenses of staying at the hotel is part of the budget for the athletic department.
Oh yeah, and that's what we were talking about the other day when things we don't even think about start to bleed into and create more expenditures. Yeah.
Okay, and then Jason also mentioned that the team is going to Greece, apparently from August the 4th to August the 11th. Is that what you read?
Yes, basketball team. Yep.
Okay. All right. Sticking with some sports, I mentioned yesterday the FIFA issue. Well, apparently the U.S. Sports Soccer Association has decided to join the rest of the members to be opposed to FIFA selling its soul. So I don't know if you guys were aware of that.
I think it was the
CONCACAF.
whole, it was the entirety of the North American soccer team group.
I think everybody's saying.
And so
no.
as of last night, I think they've got 96 countries of a needed 104 to vote no to in their next meeting, whenever that is, to decline this whole private equity deal. So all they need is either one more confederation, so South America, Africa, Asia, one of the three, to say we're all going to be in no, or just a few rogue countries to say, hey, we do not like this, and then they can vote it down. And I'll be honest, Steve, I wasn't on yesterday, so I don't know exactly everything that was said. I don't think this president of the FIFA is going to last his neix election. The way that this is blown up so much very, very quickly, and there was already folks that were not happy with him. This really feels like he's about to get voted out, and you've got I think the British Prime Minister came out and made a statement today that he was not fit to lead that organization, and so it's I think his time is, with this move, his time is very limited as the head of FIFA.
Well, I hope it doesn't go through, because I agree with the sentiments that were expressed by the different organizations that let's don't make everything be monetized, and that's my view.
Especially when you just came off of a World Cup where they were touting they were breaking revenue records, and then you turn around and say, oh, we're gonna we need more money, we're gonna sell it. Like, no, you don't need to continue to do that. You just broke all these records with revenue. The sport has or the World Cup, at least product, has never been more popular. And so, this is a huge, this is blowing up very, very big in the face of the higher ups of FIFA. I think one executive has already said, I'm stepping down because of this, and because I don't want to be a part of this. So it's going up rapidly in their face.
Moving on just real quickly, because time is precious for a few guys and me too. I thought I'd bring this to your attention, guys, because it came and it kind of really shocked me to somewhat from different sources about sports betting and gambling. Okay, and sports betting, to me, if you can control it and you do it wisely, then okay, fine. But here's the stuff that caught my attention from website sources. This one comes from Fortune magazine. Apparently, Americans are spending more on sports betting than they are on, get this, movies, museums, arts, and concerts combined.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's huge.
Yep. That's why we say that, the players and all the people that are actually participating in the events, there's got to be a lot of oversight of that, because it's never been more popular. It's never been easier. It's never been more accessible. And
adults, they're their own, controls of what they do and don't do. But this was even more troubling. This piece of information comes from National Public Radio. 11-year-olds are now getting into online gambling sites and selling their parents' possessions to pay off debts.
Good grief. Yeah, we shouldn't laugh at that, but yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. I just When I saw that, really? Okay. And here's some stats for you. One survey found 36% of boys aged 11 to 17 have gambled in the past year.
Man.
Yeah.
It's just so easy with the apps and stuff. It's really hard.
Now, think about that, guys. 11 to 17.
Yeah, I can. Well, because although I'm still more than a decade removed from it, I could totally see that being a lunch table thing amongst dudes, just being like, "Hey, man, I won $20."
If you look at the
night.
people who they use to advertise to, it's all the younger demographic people. It's all the YouTubers and streamers and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not difficult to understand this because when I'm watching sports either on Fox or ESPN during the commercial breaks, well, what am I seeing? FanDuel, okay, and Bet Us, right? BetUs.com will give you free $50, right, if you get your first bet as a win.
Yep. Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Now, speaking of ESPN, guys, because I haven't touched on this, but I don't even know if you've made a comments, but what is going on with the rummage sale or warehouse cleaning of all their top, sports broadcasters, analysts? Cam Newton, one of them, he's gone. What's going on? Are they losing money that badly? They're letting some people, I forgot who some of the names are, people who've been with ESPN for 20-some years, 30-some years.
Yeah, Carl Ravitch there, that name.
Yeah.
So I don't know their exact financial position. I know that in general, it's not been doing great. I couldn't put numbers to that, but they have done, as you know, rounds of layoffs. I feel like every couple years for a decade ish now, or 8 to 10 years now. You mentioned Cam, love Cam as a player. He was an easy one to chop off. He only does NFL. He only did it sparingly.
First take.
Cam's very eccentric and, what have you. So that was understandable. Carl Ravitch left the hole for many people. He's still working a few more events this summer before he's done. In fact, he worked the Braves game the other night on ESPN, but that one, I think, with him and Ryan Clark were, I think, the two biggest high profile names. And Ryan,
well, excuse me, Ryan, but then what I read, maybe already know that, but what to me was just completely.
It's not new for them. They've had done this multiple rounds over the last several years. Yeah,
I've even read this from Athletic that they let go a lot of people from one of their divisions, over 1,000 people from the digital. But anyway, I mean, is this like a going out of business sale?
Well, yeah, they have a ton of people there, so they're still rocking and rolling.
And I missed Dan Patrick's show. They let him go. Long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah. In fact, he's retiring in a couple of years.
The name of the game now, especially in big time sports media, is get younger and cheaper when you can. And that's what ESPN is. Ryan, you mentioned that's what they've been doing that a little bit over these last decade or so of making these big cutoffs. Is they get younger and cheaper, and once the people get too expensive, unless they are their most popular people like Stephen A. Smith, they're like, all right, it's time to move on.
Well, younger doesn't always get you, and cheap doesn't always get you quality reporters, quality analysts.
That's true.
Well, I'm thinking about one guy. I haven't seen his name mentioned yet. Who's the young that does bad beats?
Scott Van Pelt. Yeah, no, he's fine. He's one of their most coveted guys. He's fine.
You don't think they'll let him go?
No, because they made an entire sports center for him. Because he is their best dude at doing sports center. So.
Okay, well, that's it, guys. And I sure don't want to hear, at the last second that you're not returning for the rest of the broadcast. Any of you guys?
Neither do I.
All right, with that said, guys, my time is up. I always thank you for all the time that you graciously and generously allow me. So with that said, y'all have a safe afternoon and a relaxing weekend. And with that, War Eagle, guys.
War Eagle,
Steve, we appreciate it. That is retired War Dam Steve joining us on the Sports Call phone line. We need to head to our first time out of the program this afternoon. You're listening to the Friday edition of Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 and streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook.
May we have your attention, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
We're Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show.
Hi, my name is. What? My name is. My name is.
Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Looking for the best credit card rate in town? The rate on Auburn University Credit Union's MasterCard starts at 7.9% APR. That's right, 7.9% APR. For more information or to apply, visit one of their 3 locations or myaucu.org. Annual percentage rate. Auburn University Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender.
Final day of the month of July. We'll see high temperatures in the low to mid 90s. We'll see mostly sunny skies and hardly any shower and thunderstorm activity in those afternoon hours. Only about 10% of the area seeing any rain. Lows will be in the mid 70s. The rain story will change, though, for the weekend. Saturday, we'll see us getting pretty widespread activity for showers and thunderstorms. And some spots that get hit multiple times could see an inch plus of rain. A few spots will not see rain, but most of the area will. And it could be heavy at times. Because of this, high temperatures only in the low to mid 80s with lows in the low 70s. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
It's heating up at Suns Ford in Auburn with the hottest sale of the year. Now's the time to save big on a huge selection of new Ford trucks, SUVs, and cars. Whether you're looking for a rugged F-150, a family-friendly Explorer, or a fuel-efficient Escape, you'll find incredible deals waiting for you. Don't let these summer savings pass you by. Visit Suns Ford in Auburn today or shop online at sunsford.com and pick the Ford you've been wanting at a price you'll love. Suns Ford in Auburn, where the hottest deals of the year are happening now.
When it's extremely hot or cold, your heating and cooling system has to work almost nonstop to keep you comfortable. To give your system a work break and save money, raise your thermostat to 78 degrees in the summer and lower it to 65 degrees in the winter. Your wallet and your system will thank you. Brought to you by Tallapoosa River Electric Cooperative.
Hey Auburn, why stress about dinner tonight? Just cruise down South College Street and roll through the drive-thru at Waldo's Chicken and Beer. Grab the Feed the Flock meal. Yeah, we're talking 12 crispy tenders, warm cheesy biscuits, fresh coleslaw, and not 1, but 2 delicious sides. Mac and cheese, collards, wedges, you pick your groove. And don't forget 6 sauces to mix, match, and dunk your way to flavor heaven. Skip the cooking, feed the whole crew, and keep your night smooth. Waldo's Chicken and Beer, South College Street in Auburn. Drive through and dig in.
Good friends, great conversations, and one perfectly poured glass. That's the kind of moment Stella Artois is made for. Tonight, slow things down and savor the ritual, the crisp taste, the perfect pour, and the little details that turn ordinary moments into something unforgettable. So go ahead, pour it right. Raise your glass and enjoy every sip. Stella Artois, perfection served.
Experience the power of performing arts at the Jay and Susie Googe Performing Arts Center at Auburn University. The Googe Center brings world-class artists and unforgettable performances to audiences across Auburn, the state of Alabama, and beyond. Curated experiences that inspire, enlighten, and unite our community. Support the arts at Auburn. Visit googecenter.auburn.edu to explore upcoming events and purchase your tickets today. The Jay and Susie Googe Performing Arts Center, located at 910 South College Street in Auburn, where the arts come alive.
When it comes to your roof, trust your local roofers. At Superior Roofing, we're more than a roofing company. We're your neighbors. For over 40 years, homeowners across Columbus, Auburn, Opelika, and surrounding areas have relied on our experience, craftsmanship, and commitment to treating every customer like family. Whether you need a repair, replacement, or inspection, we'll help you find the right solution for your home and budget. Superior Roofing, protecting what matters most, one roof at a time. Call Superior Roofing at 334-821-8411.
Now, back to the multi-time Abby Award-winning Sports Call.
Welcome back. This is the Friday edition of Sports Call, Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie, Connor Knight, and Brooks Childress with you here today. We are also streaming. First time inside of our Auburn Bank studios to do that. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, so you can see every time that Brooks gets mad at Connor and every time I play with my hair and just all the little mannerisms that we have throughout the program.
Now that we're on camera basically every day, hopefully, am I going to have to start drinking out of like Sports Call branded drinkware? Like they do on TV.
We're not going to go overkill and stuff like that.
You got to be the biggest company man ever, Brooks.
I literally have a UAB polo on right now. So if someone's tuning in that has no idea that I'm from Birmingham, also loving the Blazers, they're like, what is this UAB dude?
This is the second UAB polo pulled out this week by Mr. Ryan Lavoie.
Yes, I have multiple.
Tuesday, too.
I know. Now I've got to think about what I wear.
Because I was thinking Tuesday was the first time, or we were thinking about doing it as early as Tuesday, but we need a little more equipment. And I was like, so they're going to put me on camera for the first time with the UAB polo. That's nice. Well, here we go again. And it did, in fact, happen, but it was just a different UAB polo. All right. So we get into things here in the latter part of hour number one, excuse me. Let's look at Auburn fall practice. It starts next week. I believe Tuesday.
Tuesday's report day.
Tuesday is report day. Yep.
Wednesday is first practice, or the first time we get to hear from Golish is going to be Wednesday, and then the first practice viewing I think is Thursday. If I'm right.
Let's double check.
I don't know.
I also got the email, so we can figure this out. You also get to see us look up things on the fly if you tune in. Tuesday is report day.
Yes.
Head coach Alex Golish. Press conferences with the coordinators. First day of practice is Wednesday.
Okay.
So Tuesday they report. Wednesday they hit the ball field for practice number one. Practice viewing windows, etc. Usually in the morning. So it's good it's not during our show. But with fall practice getting going, time to hit on some of the storylines. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the offensive line. I believe it was Wednesday. We talked a little bit about Bryson Washington, the reports that he's a little out of shape. Alex Golish trying to get him right so that he can be a part of what I think is going to be a loaded running back room. Let's look a little defense now. You know, Xavier Atkins voted to first team All SEC. You've got Champ Anthony, who was also put into the All SEC category, third team. I get the feeling that we don't know where it'll come from, but Auburn will have one or two more guys really break out. Xavier Atkins was not big time on our radar this time last year. We knew he would play. We were very enamored with the progression of DeMarcus Riddick, though, at this time last year. At least I was. Who do you think can make the big impact for Auburn's defense that we're not talking about right now?
I think it's going to be Elijah Mendez. I think Elijah Mendez had he had a huge season last year. I think he's going to have another breakout year just because he was a freshman. That freshman class in defense last year, the secondary and some of the linebackers, I think can have a really big impact, along with some of the D tackle Malik Altry. I think he's also somebody that I think could see have a huge breakout season just because of his size, and you have to replace a lot of players on that D line. So it's going to be interesting. And then secondary wise, new boy Fagans. I'd love to see something out of him or one of those big name guys from Maryland. But I do think it's going to leave Melendez off of Atkins. Being in the linebacker room with Atkins is going to help him a lot. Going to give him a lot of open looks.
I know people aren't as high on this position group this year, but this is a guy that I voted for in the All SEC squad, but I voted for him as a returner. I think Rayshawn Pleasant. I really want to see him, and I'm not even going to say breakout on the returning side of things because I voted him as a preseason top 3 team. So I think that it's in the cornerback position. I think that he has a solid year. I think that he could be a guy that jumps out there and becomes one of Auburn's leading cornerbacks, pass defenders this year. I like what he's done. He's been here at Auburn. I'm excited to see him get out there and play and play on that defense side of the football. But I think Rayshawn Pleasant for me is a guy on the defensive side, and especially in that secondary that, it may, again, not a lot of people, and not a lot of especially national people, think that the Auburn secondary, Auburn cornerbacks are going to be fantastic. But I think Pleasant can get in there and take a step forward this year and be a really, really solid DB.
As you guys probably recall from media days, I am very bullish on Jared Smith. And I think that Auburn, again, to reiterate the point I made last week, Auburn, we get very much talking about all the running backs it produces. We talk about, of course, anything and everything offensively. But what Auburn has done incredibly well for 20 years now is put really high-quality defensive linemen into the NFL. And that just happened again with Keldrick Falk, and even the second option there at edge, Kieron Crawford, who we got to chat with down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl this winter. He gets drafted pretty highly. And I think that Jared Smith is going to be the next guy. And look, last year he got his opportunities early, had a couple sacks in those Ball State, South Alabama games, made some plays. Didn't see him as much in the SEC. That's usually typical of a freshman. And like I said, you got Keldrick Falk and Kieron Crawford. You're going to want those guys taking as many snaps as possible throughout the season. But Jared Smith's going to start this year. And, when you're looking at that starting defensive line, Connor mentioned Malik Autry up the middle, and he's solid. Auburn's really glad that Dallas Walker got another year, and he's going to start up there. There's a world where Deshaun Womack definitely has a bigger impact than Smith, but my deal is that Womack as a senior has still been a little bit of an underproducer in his collegiate career, and he always feels like a guy that's about to break out and has not. Last year, he still only had 2 sacks playing really the entire season for Ole Miss and 4.5 TFL's 27 tackles. So I feel like you kind of know who Deshaun Womack is, and maybe one final year progression that can happen. Because look, I mean, Miami's guys last year, Akeem Mesidor was 25 or 26.
Yeah.
And he had been productive, but then he took another level up last year. Obviously, again, Womack's not 25 or 26, but the point is, you do allow for the possibility that being on a different school can progress you with a different group of coaching. But I think what's more likely is that Jared Smith takes over.
Yeah.
And he becomes that dude up front, and he was a highly touted player there. And so I'm very bullish on him. I like the Rayshawn Pleasant call, Brooks, because we're still trying to figure out what the pecking order is going to be in the defensive backfield. Again, I said it at the time last year. Auburn was playing so many people.
Yeah.
I almost wondered if it was a problem because they weren't setting like, oh, here's the guy we know is going to cover the number 1. But what it allowed for is multiple high-quality guys like K.N. Lee and Jay Crawford to leave. It allowed for you to still feel good about the players that you did have and the players that you knew were going to just be able to elevate if they stayed in the program and did not transfer. And so all these guys that played, they've just not been starters, or they've not played the most snaps in the games typically. So, Rayshawn was somebody that did play a lot at Tulane, knew there was return acumen, know he's athletic, and, whether it be, like you said, Brooks, in the defensive backfield or, having another explosive set of returns, I would be very optimistic that he's going to be able to have a very productive year one way or the other. And
I just, as you said, we just got to figure out what that depth is going to look like with the defensive backfield. We were talking about this because we are less than a week away from fall camp starting. That's one of the days that everybody looks forward to in fall camp, is that presser with Alex Golesh, that they hand you a depth chart.
Yes.
And we get to count how many oars are on there and everything. That's always a really an exciting day for not just us in the media, because then we can, start breaking down where people are going to be, but obviously the fans, so they can kind of get an idea of who's going to trot out there first on Saturday afternoons and who they can be expecting to see a lot of. But again, it feels like that is the cornerback is one of the positions that still needs to get figured out. And at this point, I would believe that there's going to be a lot of oars in that defensive backfield.
Who of the last three coaches was worse with the oars? Freeze, Carson, or Gus?
Gus did so many oars. Gus was like the entire offense was everybody or everybody. Like even though
even a walk-on could get an oar if he was at the right position.
I feel like there was I feel like one of the years it was flipped though. One of the Harsin years, I feel like everyone on the defensive side was an oar. Even though they like it didn't make sense, but I feel like everybody over there was an oar. But yeah, Gus would throw out there, even though we all knew who the starting quarterback was going to be. That especially the preseason depth chart it's going to be this guy. It was Bo Nix. And you're like, we know Bo Nix is going to be the starter, or this guy, or this guy, or this. And you're like, I've never heard of this quarterback. Tyler Queen.
But then you ask, he was like, oh yeah, we believe in Bo. We believe in all of our guys. There's no doubt. We've got a great group of guys, and they're going to go through fall practice, and Bo Nix knows how to run this offense, and we're real excited about him. And it's like, okay, I kind of understood from that answer. Yes, it's Bo Nix. And if I had never watched Auburn football before, but if you just look at the piece of paper, you just think every spot's up for grabs, and you better go kick some tail.
That was the thing. It's like at least you knew for sure with Harsin and Q Freeze, most of the guys that you like, all right, these are their number one guys.
Yeah.
Gus was like, this depth chart is just to put names on a sheet of paper and you're going to like it.
It felt like that was his whole thing, was like, I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing or what I'm thinking. It's going to be random. We could have a punter at kicker or at a quarterback. We could have a quarterback at kicker. It's the weirdest. There was so fun.
There was one time when I was working with the football team, we were down in New Orleans for that Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma 2016. We were practicing at Tulane Stadium. And Tulane, I don't know if either of y'all have been down there. It's just like nestled in a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Right across the street, there's houses. There's people's houses. Well, we're out there practicing, and some kid just after Christmas, has gotten his new drone out and is flying around the neighborhood. And we're like, we've been running all the same stuff all year long. We haven't there's nothing new getting here. Gus stopped practice. Everybody spread out across the field. And the state troopers that were there with us were sent into the neighborhood, dispatched to try to find where this drone came from.
Somebody's finding my playbook.
And it was
did you say what year that was?
That was it was
Sugar
after
Bowl
the
year?
16 season.
Okay.
So 16 into 17. That 17 the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day 17 Sugar Bowl.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
But it was like there wasn't anything new. It wasn't like they were trying the new stuff, but it was just that drone was around the stadium. Everybody spread out, no formations, and the state
didn't have Sean White chuck a football at the drone, try to knock it out of the sky.
No. I think we knew what Sean White's arm capability was at that point. It was a police search to find where that drone came from.
Oh, that's tremendous. Well, that will do it for hour number one of the program. Coming up the next couple of hours, we got a lot more for you. Couple more re-airs of interviews. Last two from last week. We will re-air the Brandon Marcello interview. That will come up around 4:15. Around 5:15 today, Chuck Oliver. In between that, maybe some more fall practice thoughts, but also we'll update you on Jackson Coiven. And, of course, at the end of the show, we'll have the best and worst of the weekend. And in the 5 o'clock hour, we will have a preview, or maybe even by the end of the 4 o'clock hour, we'll start previewing Mississippi State as we preview all 16 SEC schools within 16 shows. You're listening or watching the Friday edition of Sports Call live on Tiger 95.9.
One hour of our show is in the books. We've got more to come. Stay tuned for another hour of Sports Call right after the break.
Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory is here for you when you need us. With locations in Lee, Chambers, and Tallapoosa counties, serving the people of East Alabama and West Georgia since 1900. A family-owned and operated business, skip the hassle of the big corporate mortuaries. Our kind, compassionate team members are standing by to assist your family in the hardest of times. An on-site crematory, private cemetery, and a choice of facilities makes Frederick Dean unique. Visit us at frederickdean.com.
Looking for your next great find? Go exploring at Mission Thrift. Every day brings something new, from books and name brand clothing to furniture, home decor, and so much more. You never know what treasures you'll uncover. And the best part, every purchase supports a great cause. Find us at 2052 East University Drive in Auburn, right behind Zaxby's. Lifesavers Mission Thrift. Discover more, spend less.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold way filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
TK's convenience stores have a brand new look. That's right. Look for the red, white, and blue. It's Arco, American-owned top-tier gasoline, now at select TK's locations. Need great gas at a great price? TK's and Arco have you covered with the best price gas in town. American-made fuel for you and your family. So roll into your neighborhood TK's today, where TK's and Arco are as American as apple pie.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
Now I need your help to get back to the year 1985.
Check out the Flashback Lunch, weekdays from noon until 1 on the Tiger. We're playing 80s, postmodern, retro, and more. The Flashback Lunch on Tiger 95.9.
Like, I love those classics. Those are great.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. It also delivers vital emergency information when your community needs it most. A new bill in Congress would ensure AM radio stays in your car, because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service is critical. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Check out Auburn University Credit Union's 7-month CD special. Get 4.15% APR back on a regular or IRA share certificate, or 4.25% back on a 7-month jumbo and IRA share certificate. Visit myaucu.org or one of our local branches to learn more. Annual percentage rate, $2,500 minimum deposit for regular share certificates, $500 minimum deposit for IRA share certificates. Jumbo rate applies to $100,000 plus deposits. Terms and conditions apply. Rate subject to change. Visit myaucu.org/rates for current information. At Mid-South Bank, we're your problem solver and financial advisor. Managing your money can be challenging. The good news is you don't have to go it alone. You have a friend in us. No matter what your financial status, we're here to help you do what's best for you. Come in today at 519 East Glen Avenue or visit bankmidsouth.com to find out what the friendliest, most helpful bank in town can do for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. When the game is on the line, heroes rise, and off the field, real heroes deserve their moment too. Game Day for Heroes is all about giving back, providing unforgettable game day experiences to the brave men and women who've served our great nation. It's more than just tickets. It's about saving lives, restoring families, building tomorrow, and honoring our heroes. You can help make a difference. For more information or to donate tickets, visit GameDayForHeroes.org. Game Day for Heroes, because those who serve deserve a game day they'll never forget.
The summer heat is here, and the best way to make sure you stay cool all season long is to give May Refrigeration a call. When your AC goes out or needs maintenance, May Refrigeration's technicians are trained and equipped to handle anything that comes their way. And don't forget, it's never a bad time to get your heating system checked, especially when you aren't using it. Give May Refrigeration a call today at 745-COLD. That's 745-COLD. So for quality customer service that you can count on every time, May Refrigeration, proudly serving the Auburn and Opelika area.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves take Game 1 from the Nationals. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Tidal Wave Auto Spa is the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves and your go-to car wash destination all season long. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com to find a location nearest you.
The Braves take Game 1 against the Nats 5-4 on Thursday night. The Braves managed just 4 hits, but Mikey Yastrzemski a 2-run home run, Ronald Acuna a solo shot as they come back from a 3-0 deficit to take care of the Nats in Game 1. Grant Holmes went 4 2/3, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Victor Medeiros, he got the win, his first career win. He went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, 1 earned run, and walked 1. But congratulations to Victor Medeiros for his first career win. Raisel Iglesias locked it down in the bottom of the 9th, his 23rd save of the season. Game 1 in the books. Game 2 is going to be a tough one because Foster Griffin going for the Nats. He's 12-2, has a 2.76 ERA, 28 walks, and 113 strikeouts. It'll be a Bryce Elder night for the Braves. He's 6-6, has a 3.93 ERA, 37 walks, and 98 strikeouts. For leadoff show coming your way at 6-5 Central, and first pitch between the Braves and the Nationals, 7:15. You can hear all of it on the Braves Radio Network.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn. Since 1995, Alabama's sports talk leader, Tiger Communications, proudly presents Sports Call. It's time to join our Sports Call crew as they discuss the latest headlines and happenings around Auburn and the entire sports world. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. We're taking phone calls all show long and want to talk about whatever you've got on your mind. And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, Sports Call.
Second hour of Sports Call beginning right now. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan Lavoie, Connor Knight, and Brooke Childress with you here this afternoon in our Auburn Bank studios. Also streaming now for the first time live in studio in our Auburn Bank studio. Jared Dillard helping us out with that. Also messing with Brooks a little bit too. But you can see it now on YouTube and Facebook. Sports Call Auburn. Come hang out with us there. Send us a chat if you do not want to give us a call today. Again, if you put a chat out there, I can't promise it will make the show, but it very well could. But we appreciate Jared for getting everything hooked up there. Also for JJ and his hard work, and also Connor for cleaning up studio today and all kinds of things.
Ryan, are you as our resident Yankee man?
Yeah.
Are you a bigger Ahmed Rosario fan or a bigger Spencer Jones fan?
I mean, Ahmed Rosario has been doing it for longer. Spencer Jones has more potential. I mean, I don't know what you want, what the context
I was
is there.
I was just saying, just gut feeling who you liked better.
Well, I like them both equally today.
Yeah.
And
So-
I like how well the Yankees are pitching lately. They
Yeah.
lost a couple low-scoring extra inning games to the White Sox, but yeah, no, I mean, I probably, you know what? Looking at their numbers, I didn't know this. So I was curious. One's hitting 235, one's hitting 236. So the season will not be defined by either, but Spencer Jones is younger, so you can take the younger player, but Rosario's already accomplished more in big league baseball. Trade deadline is the 3rd. I think we've established that. So it's on Monday.
5
p.m. Eastern.
5 p.m. Central time, I think. I think it's 6
Central?
Eastern. Maybe it's 5 Eastern. Maybe it's like 4 Central.
Sure. Either one. Either way, it'll be during our show. And
fine for sure.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
6 Eastern.
We'll see if we have movement. You mentioned to me earlier today they are yanking Casey Mize from his next start, and of course the former Auburn Tiger, who's been healthier for Detroit recently. He has missed some time this year, but he has now entered the chat in terms of trade deadline rumors. Detroit 51-58 for the record. They're not way out of it. You know, I mentioned the Yankees losing to the Chi Sox a couple times, and the last 2 years have been like, ew.
Yeah.
The Chi Sox are your leaders in the American League Central Division at 57-51. So the Tigers at 51-58 are still 6.5 back, which is not insurmountable.
I looked at those standings. I'm like, that's going to be a fun division going down the stretch. Is that AL Central?
It will be. It will be because 4th place, that is the only division. Well, NL East kind of ruined it. NL East with 9.5 games. I was going to say that's the only division that the 4th place team is single-digit games back. Technically not true because of the tie in the NL East with the Nationals and Marlins at 9.5. But if that gives you any indication that that's the most congested division through 4th place, that's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, with Casey Mize this season, of course, a lot of conversation has been around Tariq Skubal. Casey Mize this year, though, been very solid. 8-4, 2.70 earned run average, and he's taken 16 starts. He's missed about 6. For reference, the leaders are around 22, 23 starts right now. So Casey is getting trade talks. And again, it's good to see him healthy. I said 8-6. He's 4-6, not getting run support. But last year, he had the 3.87 ERA and made 28 starts. Career ERA now under 4. And I'll have to double check, but this is his 6th season with the Tigers. I know he didn't pitch much of 2022 due to injury, but I mean, I think that means that he is due to be a free agent. I'll have to double check the contract status, but the bottom line is Detroit's running out of player control with Casey Mize. And so it's not just that Skubal could leave in free agency, it's that Casey Mize could also leave sooner rather than later.
And I think the big thing is why there's some Braves media and some Braves fans that are it feels like those two names keep getting brought up with the Braves, and why a lot of guys are going and saying, well, rather than Skubal, go to Mize, because as you were mentioning, both of them are running out of contract time, but you feel like you'd be more likely to convince Casey Mize to re-sign with you, being from Alabama, growing up in Braves country, being a Braves fan growing up, than Skubal to say, hey, stick around here. And Skubal may be like, whatever, I'm going to go chase the contract somewhere else.
He'll be more expensive, and he is more likely to take the highest bid, period. Not saying Mize wouldn't, but to your point, if all things are close, he could take a slight discount.
Yeah. And so I think that's why you're seeing some more people go in and say, let's get Mize instead of Skubal. It goes back to, I think we've talked about it. The Braves need another starter going down the stretch here. If they're gonna make a realistic shot at a deep postseason run, they need another starting pitcher in there. You can't just depend on Chris Sale to come out 5 days a week. Obviously, it's it's something that the Braves need. And you mentioned it the other day, we were talking about it. Braves may need another bat to go in and find a bat somewhere, but it's just going to be interesting to see what teams move. I know them. It's not necessarily. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. Not necessarily a fire sale, as we've seen in the past, but the Mets are starting to move some people. They moved former Brave AJ Minter last night, and I saw where they've got Peralta. Their pitcher Peralta's been scratched, and so people are expecting him to get moved here very soon. So. Not necessarily the fire sale that you sometimes see from teams that are, way far back in the postseason race, but at least you're starting to see some teams start to shuffle the deck and start to say where are we going to move some people.
Well, and look, I want the Braves to get the second starter, and because it does not have, for me, much to do with the regular season. I think the Braves will make the playoffs, period.
Yeah.
And they're starting to space back out a little bit here the last few days. Phillies are struggling a little bit. But I'm not too involved in that. As I said a week ago, the Braves had a 100-win-plus team right after winning the World Series. The World Series team was not as good of a team, and yet the World Series team won the World Series, and the 100-plus win team was out immediately. So,
baseball.
I'm not going to get too enamored on that. But what I think you need, whether it's a longer series or short series, is a bona fide number 2 pitcher. Chris Sale's getting the ball as much as possible. He'll get it in game 1. He'll get it in another game, even in a short series, unless you get swept. But I don't know who the Braves throw second.
Yeah.
I don't have a great answer for you. Grant Holmes is a very average big league pitcher. Bryce Elder is a below average big league pitcher. Martin Perez feels like, again, a nice story, but it's like, I don't want to say it's come unglued, but you see the cracks.
Yeah.
And you see that it's just probably not going to hold up the whole season. Right now, he's made 16 starts. The ERA has gone up to 3.49. Again, that's not bad. I take it out of Martin Perez, but that doesn't instill confidence that he's my number 2 pitcher. We just now saw AJ Smith-Shawver, his first start. I can't predict the future. I don't know if he's going to be up to his standard this year in the 2 months he's got left. So I know the Braves' standpoint has always been, we've got 8 dudes that we would be interested in making a start. And that's great for the regular season. But they don't know today who their number 2 star would be in a postseason series. You've got to figure that out. And I don't think that's inherently coming off of this team. And so I would go get one. And then that doesn't have to be Tariq Skubal because he's a number 1. Casey Mize is much more like a number 2. Logan Webb, who I've said 87 times, and he's been in 0 trade rumors, he is more of a really, really good number 2. And so that's what I think the Braves, if they want to be serious about their postseason odds, that's what's going to give them a better chance. Because Grant Holmes, Grant Holmes has done, again, great work. I know it's a high 3 ERA, but for what they're asking to do, the guy was not even in the big leagues a couple of years ago. When he did come up, he was supposed to be a long reliever, and I respect the heck out of it. But Grant Holmes is not going to beat the Los Angeles Dodgers in the postseason. He's not getting out Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and Max Muncy and Will Smith and Angel Pages and he's not getting these guys out when it matters the most, with all due respect to him. And Bryce Elder is not doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't think Martin Perez would do that. But at least if I go find someone else, I have a better chance of that. And I won't promise a thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone's still going to pick the Dodgers. But I just know what the Braves have right now behind Sale's not enough.
You need, and going off that point, you need another guy that you can trust to go around 7 innings. You can trust Chris Sale to go around 7 innings. You need a guy that you can trust there because you need to save that bullpen for the next couple days in a postseason scenario here. Because those first 2 guys, if you can get it to that, 8th inning, throw the, let's say you got the lead or tied, you can throw your high leverage guys out there and get the win that way. But you get to that back end of that rotation, you need that bullpen help a little bit more. You need to save that bullpen more for in the latter parts of that, whatever your rotation looks like in the postseason, to help out the guys that are not your number 1 and number 2 starters. I was looking at the Braves rotation guys in their depth chart. And it's just, you're looking at that lineup and you're like, man, what could have been with if Strider had come back strong. You got 3 guys that were supposed to be starting pitchers for the Braves this year, considered to be starting pitchers for the Braves this year. They're on the 60-day IL.
Yeah.
Strider, Wentz, Schwellenbach. They're all 3.
Schwellenbach's who I continue to be sad about. I think in general, the conversation around Strider is sad because when he burst on the scene, it looked like he was about to be one of the 10 best pitchers in the league.
He was.
And he has just not been the same the last couple of years.
Yeah, that first injury just changed him.
But I will tell you that my still long-term prognosis on Schwellenbach is still high.
Yeah.
Because I love the repertoire, and I've been maybe too enamored with that. But to me, if you've got 5 pitches that young,
oh yeah,
even if you take one away eventually, you figure out, the cutter's not cutting. Okay, fine. 4 pitches is still above average for what people are throwing out because so many people, even the starters, like 99 fastball and a breaking ball.
Yep.
And that's all they theoretically need when you throw that hard. So the guys that can really change directions with it, I love. The last one I'll make too, piggybacking off what you were saying, Brooks, when you are able to not just do 1 game in the postseason where you don't expend the bullpen, but you can do 2.
Yeah.
It gives you the optionality for a bullpen game.
Oh, yeah.
And the Braves have been, again, they've been really good late inning wise. Now, again, as with anyone else, if you're going to talk about a 5th inning middle reliever, sure. Sometimes it's going to go well, sometimes it won't. But we've continued to really love their 7th, 8th, and 9th. And Suarez has been out recently.
Yeah.
He'll come back. But, I think that if they could get to 6 to 7 inning starts to start a postseason series, you could think about, because game 3 is usually after a day off.
Yeah.
Game 3 is like, we might have Martin Perez come out and treat him like a reliever. And the minute he gets in trouble, we pull him.
And here, if we're going in that situation, a guy that you moved to the bullpen for a little bit, is you could, in that theory, say Martin Perez, you go out here, start things off, things get in trouble. Ronaldo Lopez, you're a starter reliever. We'll throw you in here, and then that also
that's your length.
And so there's if you get that second starter here at the deadline, it could open up a doorway of possibilities for what the Braves could do when you get to postseason play. You mentioned those Dodger hitters. Did you see Max Muncy the other night became the all-time leading Dodger home run hitter in Dodger Stadium history?
I did not. I would not be able to recall, though, to be fair, like at least to the last 30 years that I'm aware of. They had really good moments.
Yeah.
Like Matt Kemp and Yasiel Puig and some of these guys. But, they didn't last long.
Yeah.
And then I go back to, they weren't always the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yep.
The Dodger Stadium is very historic now, but it's not like it was in 1910 or 20. So you can work yourself through it, but still on the face value, it's like, wow, Max Muncy,
all-time Dodger leader in home runs at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah,
so
good for him.
Good for him. And there's another Max Muncy out there lingering too. That's so weird.
It is. All right, let's take our first time out here of the 4 o'clock hour. When we come back, we're going to re-air our interview from SEC Media Days with Brandon Marcello. There was a lot of good stuff on Auburn and more on that interview. So that's coming up next. This is the Friday edition of Sports Call live on Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, the free-to-use Tiger Communications app, and streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back after this.
Do you want to join our conversation? Tweet us your thoughts on Twitter at SportsCallAU.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Tiger Rewards checking at Auburn University Credit Union gives you the tools to manage your credit, monitor for fraud, telehealth services, loan discounts, and more. Visit myaucu.org for more details. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Final day of the month of July. We'll see high temperatures in the low to mid 90s. We'll see mostly sunny skies and hardly any shower and thunderstorm activity in those afternoon hours. Only about 10% of the area seeing any rain. Lows will be in the mid 70s. The rain story will change, though, for the weekend. Saturday, we'll see us getting pretty widespread activity for showers and thunderstorms. And some spots that get hit multiple times could see an inch plus of rain. A few spots will not see rain, but most of the area will, and it could be heavy at times. Because of this, high temperatures only in the low to mid 80s with lows in the low 70s. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
From the very beginning in 1907, Auburn Bank's mission has been to promote our community, see businesses flourish, and improve the livelihoods of local citizens. We have operated a simple and straightforward business model built on a foundation of sound business decisions and a caring response. Our local team stands ready to discuss your financial needs and goals. Auburn Bank, champions of you. Member FDIC. Online at auburnbank.com.
Get ready, Auburn. It's the Action Jackson and Team No Chill Off-Road Birthday Bash at Boggin on the Plains, July 31st through August 2nd. 3 days of mud, music, off-roading, and non-stop chaos as off-road fans from all over come together for one epic weekend. Bring your rig, your crew, or just come watch the action fly at Boggin on the Plains. The Action Jackson and Team No Chill Off-Road Birthday Bash, July 31st through August 2nd. It's going to be loud, muddy, and absolutely unforgettable.
Presented by Jimmy's Car Stereo.
Hey, slow it down for a second and make it a Stella moment. From catching up with friends to kicking back after a long day, every great night starts with the perfect pour. Because with Stella Artois, craftsmanship meets ritual, and the little details make every sip worth savoring. Take your time, pour it right, and raise a glass to the moment. Stella Artois, perfection served.
Whether it's enjoying a night in with good friends and close family or having some fun in the great outdoors, don't forget to grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola from one of your 17 local TK's convenience stores. Every sip of an ice-cold, refreshing Coke helps make whatever you are doing memorable. With a variety of options to choose from, TK's has a Coke for every occasion. So stop by any one of your local 17 TK's convenience stores today and pick up an ice-cold Coca-Cola. TK's convenience stores, always there when you need us. Looking for your next great find? Go exploring at Mission Thrift. Every day brings something new, from books and name brand clothing to furniture, home decor, and so much more. You never know what treasures you'll uncover. And the best part, every purchase supports a great cause. Find us at 2052 East University Drive in Auburn, right behind Zaxby's. Lifesavers Mission less.
Now back to Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show, SportsCall.
Welcome back to Sports Call here on Tiger 95.9. We are on Digital Drive. It's SEC Media Days from Tampa 2026. Ryan Lavoie, J.J. Jackson, and Brooks Childress with you here today. And we're now pleased to be joined by the senior national college football reporter for CBS Sports, Brandon Marcello. Brandon, the time's greatly appreciated. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. We're on day 4. Is anybody else tired?
Well, there would have been a time where we would see leakage this on this Thursday, but when you run Lane Kiffin through and then you have Texas this afternoon, it's like, well, we're doing 4 full days, aren't we?
Yeah, no, it's they were smart with the scheduling this year. You know, usually I used to remember, like on these situations, the last day they put Nick Saban out there, but Saban usually was like, put me in the morning. So then the afternoon would be completely empty, but that won't be the case today.
So, Brandon, let's talk a little bit about the Auburn Tigers. Again, another coaching change out Scolish in. What are your impressions of him and just what kind of opportunity he's going to have in year number 1?
Yeah, I'm jealous because I thought my alma mater, Arkansas, was going to get him. In fact, they were set to get him, and then John Summerall decided to go to Florida, and kind of the dominoes fell the way they did. I'm not talking bad about Ryan Silverfield, by the way, but I was really kind of sold on Golish. I think Auburn's going to be a bit of a surprise this year. I think they can win 8-9 games. And the reason why, we talk about these athletic directors kind of trying to follow an Indiana model. And by that, I mean they just want a coach from a group of 6 to bring their players with them. These other coaches did that. Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas. John Summerall didn't really. Eric Morris from North Texas certainly did. I mean, he brought practically his entire roster to Oklahoma State. But Auburn's the one that I really circled because not only did they bring about a dozen or so from South Florida, but they're all veterans that have been in the system for 2 to 3 years, and they're all led by a quarterback who has been playing a very long time and puts up a lot of numbers. And to me, you get that immediate influx. And nationally, I think a lot of people are going, well, they lost Cam Coleman, lost Eric Singleton, lost these guys, these top-tier receivers. My argument back to that is, well, Hugh Freeze didn't find a way to utilize them, give them the ball, and they still won, what they did. Now you're bringing in a coach whose offense is more exciting, more modern, and they're veterans, and they're bringing in veteran receivers to go along with that. And, yeah, they should be better this year. And I think people are counterweighing that idea too much with losing Cam Coleman and others. And I think Auburn's got the makings of an 8 or 9 win team this year.
Which is great to hear. I mean, 5 straight losing seasons.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, this is insane. I mean, I don't want to put it all on you, but it almost lines up kind of with the time frame that you've been away from us on the plains there.
It lines up with the decision to fire Gus Malzahn. They shouldn't have done that, in my opinion. He was 6-4 against an all-SEC schedule. Lane Kiffin was 4-5 against an all-SEC schedule at Ole Miss. And then what happened after that? So, and then the biggest mistake was hiring Brian Harsin. Dumb decision, beyond dumb. A guy who had no connection to the South, thought more of himself than the reflection of himself in the mirror even thought of him, and just complete bad culture fit. And you're trying to recover from that. And I thought the hiring of Hugh Freeze was good at the time, but it was obvious that he was very complacent. And like Hugh, but complacent, and did not have the makings of the game day coach that we saw at Liberty and, for that matter, at Ole Miss. I've got a friend who's very close to Hugh Freeze and has coached for other coaches and been around him and said Hugh Freeze was the best game day coach he'd ever been around. He wasn't at Auburn. I don't know what the disconnect was there, other than you can just say the common denominator is Hugh Freeze, and something happened to him. But now you got a coach who's young, hungry, wants to be there, and is working his tail off to get there. And he's got veteran leadership, and this seems like the right fit for Auburn. And like I said, I wish he was at Arkansas, my alma mater.
Which is great to hear. It's just the problem is you play in the Southeastern Conference, and every single week is going to be an absolute gauntlet. And they've added an extra. Now there are 9 games that you're playing in this league.
I was looking at the schedule the other day. I was doing a segment on CBS Sports HQ, and if I recall, you guys correct me if I'm wrong because everything muddles together with all the teams. The way it looked to me is that this schedule can be separated in thirds. I could see Auburn starting 4-0. I could see them going 0-4 in October. And then the third part of that schedule is where it'll determine whether it's a successful season. I think they go 4-0. And then if you can steal 1 or 2 in that middle portion, this team could end up being the 8 or 9 win team I was talking about.
So, Brandon, talk to me a little bit about, this Auburn team has struggled so mightily on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the transfer portal in general. Is offensive line around the country been the most difficult thing or one of the most difficult things to build through the portal?
Both lines, offensive line, defensive line. So much stock is put on defensive tackles, especially late in the portal, and it seems like everybody's scrounging around for that. The offensive line, usually, I remember seeing, not necessarily a study, but it was like how the returns on offensive linemen from the portal aren't as high as other at the skill positions. And so counting on offensive linemen to get out of the portal to help you is not a good game plan, really, usually. you need to get guys from high school and develop them and keep them in the program along the offensive and defensive lines. You can complement your roster with skill position guys, but you better do your damnedest to be a really great recruiter for the offensive and defensive lines and having retention among them. That's how you build a program that can contend.
So with this 9-game SEC schedule, you bring back that you're playing everyone every other year. So for Auburn, that means trying to rekindle something with Florida after hardly playing them for the last 2 decades.
Yeah, that game's going to be nuts.
And
early in the schedule.
Yes.
And you got the John Summerall factor into it too. In addition to, all the old timers love the rivalry against Florida and what it meant on that schedule. That's going to be a very intense game on a Saturday night in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
How do you think the league has done overall in handling the 9-game schedule and what it will be moving forward?
Pretty good. It's about as good as you can get. It could be a lot worse. It could be the ACC where they're moving to 9 games, but not totally. Some teams are going to play 8 games this year. Some will play
math.
Because of math. It's the whole thing's ridiculous there. But I thought they did a pretty good job with the SEC with this. And having said that, it's going to hurt the SEC this year in the playoff. The SEC should probably still lead the nation in the amount of playoff teams that get in. But once again, the Big Ten's won 3 straight titles for a reason. Their schedule's not as difficult, and the top-tier teams are always better at the end of the season than the top-tier teams in the SEC. And I don't see how that flips on itself this year with the SEC playing a much difficult schedule.
Let's get to story time now, because you popped back up on the Auburn radar earlier this offseason when one Mr. Gus Malzahn and you happened to be in the same beat. Take us behind the scenes. What happened in that encounter?
He kidnapped me and told me that I was down at SEC spring meetings, and Gus and I are working on something together, and he's got a condo down there like most coaches who are millionaires and, got their big buyouts, all that stuff. But no, we were working on something together, and I was over at his condo, and I walked in that morning. I said, hey, I'm going on the Paul Feinbaum show today. I got an idea. Why don't you walk behind me during the show? And he immediately lit up, goes, let's do it. And he was wanting, a little behind the scenes here, he was wanting to wear an Auburn shirt and an Auburn visor. But Christy stepped in, goes, I don't know if you should do that. And he goes, well, we're Auburn people now. We live there. We're there. We love Auburn. He goes, that's our team. We're all, and all that. And she's like, just probably not do it. He's like, oh, okay, all right. But yeah, Gus loves Auburn.
And it's been awesome. Like over the last year, he and Christy were back courtside at a men's basketball game. I remember the reaction for everybody seeing here. And it's just something about time that passes.
He's been very worried about the reaction people would have about him being back at Auburn. He felt like they wouldn't want him around and all that. And I think going back earlier to some of those things, he learned that wasn't the case. And so he feels much more comfortable there. And that's why they're living there permanently. They got their house still, their old house. In fact, when he got fired, they leased their house off to another coach there that wasn't a football coach. I can't remember who it was. And then now they're gone. So like, okay, we can take our house back over. And so they're living there, and they have the lake house still in Lake Martin, and that's where he's been spending most of his time.
I heard Eli Drinkwitz earlier this week suggest that he's going to get the itch again. So do you think Gus is really retired?
He'll never be away from football. I don't know. And I'm going to honestly tell you, I don't think Gus could tell you. I will tell you he's bothering Christy. I mean, it's but there's
no doubt.
There's no doubt about that. But he's golfing a lot, traveling a lot. I know him and Christy are going to go to Ireland for like 2 weeks in August, like their first extended vacation together since maybe ever. He's enjoying the retirement, and he's had some family stuff he's had to pay a lot more attention to and needed to. Because as you guys know, Christy had that big health scare a few years back, and he's had, parents get sick, and he's taking care of them. I can't tell you how good he's been to his stepfather and mother as they're going through some issues. And so it was time. And I think he wants to still be involved. That's why he's doing the playoff committee stuff. He's signed up for that for 3 years, and He's really putting a lot of energy into that. I can't tell you how much he's doing research and stuff. He's fully prepared.
Yeah, and all the photos are starting to, might not have worn an Auburn shirt during the Feinbaum appearance there, but some of the Auburn apparel is coming back out for Gus Malzahn. Brandon Marcello of CBS Sports is here with us. Before we let you go and start to wind down here today, Brandon, also what's happened in recent months is the Auburn community lost Philip Marshall, if you will. I know that you got the opportunity to work alongside him for a number of years. What was it like to kind of learn from him, pick his brain, and his lasting legacy in this digital, or not even digital, but just media world as well?
Just an institution. And we talk about digital world. He was really on the forefront of that. I mean, he started up the Auburn 24/7 site. He's the reason why that was even a success in the first place. He's the reason why I even had an opportunity to join that and be part of that. And I can't tell you how much he helped me working there. And, he would get stuff like, I can't report this, but I'm going to give you a little tip here. You do a little digging on it. And he was always very helpful. Guy was just a prolific writer. He had something to say and a fresh perspective on anything going on every single day. I couldn't do that. Most of us can't. And he always did that. And just a gigantic loss. And it really hit me. And certainly I know hit a lot of people much harder who knew him for a very long time. And he'll forever be remembered there. I mean, it's going to be weird this football season reading about Auburn and not getting his perspective on everything. So I can't say more than just, I don't have the words for it. It's a gigantic, huge hole in Auburn.
He is Brandon Marcello, the senior national writer for CBS Sports, joining us today. Brandon, we certainly appreciate the time, and we look forward to catching up with you again down the line.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That is Brandon Marcello with us today on Sports Call.
Looking for another way to listen to our show? Be sure to download the Tiger Communications app and listen to Sports Call wherever you go.
Looking for your next great find? Go exploring at Mission Thrift. Every day brings something new, from books and name brand clothing to furniture, home decor, and so much more. You never know what treasures you'll uncover. And the best part, every purchase supports a great cause. Find us at 2052 East University Drive in Auburn, right behind Zaxby's. Lifesavers Mission Thrift. Discover more, spend less.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. Make sure you listen to the Weekday Rush with James Chandler on Tiger 95.9 FM and the Tiger Communications app.
Good morning, my neighbors! The summer heat is here, and the best way to make sure you stay cool all season long is to give May Refrigeration a call. When your AC goes out or needs maintenance, May Refrigeration's technicians are trained and equipped to handle anything that comes their way. And don't forget, it's never a bad time to get your heating system checked, especially when you aren't using it. Give May Refrigeration a call today at 745-COLD. That's 745-COLD. So for quality customer service that you can count on every time, May Refrigeration, proudly serving the Auburn and Opelika area.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
This is Andy Burcham, voice of the Auburn Tigers, and you're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Welcome back. This is the Friday edition of Sports Call, Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. Ryan, Brooks, and Connor with you here this afternoon. Again, appreciate all the guests that we had last week for their time, including Brandon Marcello, who you just heard from again. We'll play one final interview from last week coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, and that was with Chuck Oliver, so that will be coming up here soon. We're going to get into Mississippi State here in just a couple moments. Also, again, appreciate you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in. So many ways to consume the program now more than ever. Of course, you've still got the good old radio signal at Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm website, and the Tiger Communications app. You've also got After the Fact on the Sports Call podcast presented by Coca-Cola. I've got a Diet Coke right now.
I had a Diet Coke in this indescript cup that I'm not going to show the logo for, but there was a Diet Coke in there.
We'll take your word for it. And again,
if the restaurant would like to pay us money, they
right.
can. I would love to endorse.
But we're also content paying them money for lunch.
Yes, I did.
But and then also, again, if you just saw a few seconds ago when I said Diet Coke, I held up a Diet Coke to our cameras that we now have inside of our Auburn Bank studios. And again, you can join us live on YouTube and Facebook, and we plan on doing this moving forward. This is not a one-time thing. I know we had some remote shows of the past, and then certainly Media Days last week where we were broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook, but that is now the plan moving forward. So welcome to a new age. And that right around our birthday, by the way.
Wow.
About to turn 31.
31.
Getting old.
Man.
Believe it's August 1st.
Somewhere around there.
I think it is the first. It's the first week of August. Yeah, August 1st, yells JJ from the lobby. So
who said that?
So appropriate timing. JJ asked a question about the digital age a little bit, or mentioned the digital age when talking about the passing of Philip Marshall, and we continue to move on into this digital age and do more and more with the technology.
And it's not because we kept seeing all the other radio stations at Media Days do it, and we
we brought our stuff to Media Days to do it at Media Days also.
You can't stop spreading that lie that we were jealous of the others.
I don't think anyone had started the lie.
I'd started the lie. Fine.
Brooks responding to himself. All right, so I'm going to get to Mississippi State in a minute. I do want to update the Rocket Classic. And no, that's not the AC Reynolds Rockets of Asheville, North Carolina, where J.J. Jackson attended high school. You might know he's from Asheville. Jackson Coyven at the Rocket Classic PGA Tour event. 3 under par today. Quality round, did bogey 17. 4 under for the championship. It's going to be enough. He will make the cut. The number will either finish at 3 or 4 under. Currently, it is 3 under. Tie 62nd is 3 under. And Jackson against 4 under, tie 50th. He's good either way. He will make the cut. We'll see what that cut line is here in the next hour as play concludes. The leaders did not jump up much today. I believe someone shot 9 under 61 yesterday. The lead is just 10 under. So, honestly, a ton of players are going to be in this on the weekend. Being 5 or 6 back does not mean you're out of it. You will need to go low and shoot low 60s tomorrow, but that's what Jackson did last week to get himself the lead. Again, not suggesting that will happen again, but just want Jackson to be able to make this cut, which he's done, and get enough FedEx Cup points to make sure he qualifies. Because to me, that's such a cool thing that he would be top 70 in FedEx Cup points playing 4 professional events this year. Again, being able to get points for them. He played in a couple of the majors, right, like the U.S. Open, but he was an amateur, and so you don't get points for that. Being able to qualify for your season-long tournament after just playing in 4 would be really cool. And, I have no idea how he would do in them, but, again, well ahead of schedule.
Don't want to, obviously not saying he's going to do it because, it's long shot. But just to remind everybody, because I saw the graphic earlier this week, is that the defending FedEx Cup champion, Tommy Fleetwood, only has one career PGA Tour win, and it was the Tour Championship last year to win the Tour Championship. So I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah, right. Well, you get in the thing and you never know. And that's a heck of a payday for you winning. The $1.5 million that Koivu made was nice, but that thing's, I think, $10 million or $15 million. I mean, it's a lofty sum.
And we mentioned it the other day. I don't know if he's officially got it locked up, or he's got a Masters invite, but that would lock you up for a Masters invite.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that'll. I have to go back through that criteria. I know he qualified for other majors.
Yeah,
he's
that one. He's in one of either the Open or the PGA Championship. I don't remember not the Open, the U.S. Open.
Sure.
I think it was one of those two that he's in.
All right, so there's your update on Jackson. Again, going to make the cut over the weekend. We'll see if he can get enough FedEx Cup points to hang in the top 70. And just by making the cut, he might be enough. I don't know, 71, 72, 73. I don't know if they're making the cut, what their status is. Surely they have played this tournament because they need to qualify, but he might already be in really good shape. So we'll check that out over the weekend. All right, so time to preview school number 2. And I falsely said yesterday Kentucky. I was thinking of my own ballot. That is my mistake. We do it by how the SEC media voted as a whole as we preview each SEC school one at a time. Today, it's number 15 in the league, which is Mississippi State. Yesterday was Arkansas, of course. If you missed that, go check it out on the Sports Call podcast. Same question we put on our social media yesterday on X at SportsCall AU. We put on there today. How many games will the Mississippi State Bulldogs win in 2026? The options are less than 4, 5 to 7, 8 or 9, 10 plus. Again, as I said yesterday, less than 4. Really just use that as 4 or less, because then you have the gray area of, but what if I think 4 and 8? So 4 or less, 5 to 7, 8 or 9, or 10. And you won't need the 8 or 9 or 10 option. So here we go. We'll kind of do this how we did it yesterday with Arkansas. Obviously, though, no new coach for the Bulldogs, Jeff Lebby, year number 3. So let me just first ask you guys, what are your impressions 2 years in to the Jeff Lebby era in Stark Vegas?
For me, it's been positive. I thought for what this program was at after what happened with Mike Leach, which was one of the most tragic things to happen to a program like Mississippi State, because they had Mike Leach. Everything seemed to be going in the right direction. And then he has that heart attack and dies, and it's just so unfortunate. And you got your DC, you hired him, and it didn't work out with Arnett. So with Lebby, I've been really impressed. I thought that just based on last year alone, and solely for the fact that he had Mississippi State in games that a couple of years ago you would not think they would be in. The Texas game, he had them in overtime. The Tennessee game, that was close. You'd love him to play Ole Miss better, but Ole Miss had the best team in the history of Mississippi, frankly, last year. So I think so far it's been really positive. And if he can continue, if he can up his total from last year, I think the sky's the limit for Lebby. I think Bulldog fans should be really happy with him. Could be the next thing, next great Dan Mullen type of coach that just lasts a while if he can keep improving.
I think so far it's been a rocky positive. I'll say that. That's how I'd like to describe it, because you come in and obviously it's no picnic that first season. That 2 wins. You were in a couple of the games that first year, but it's still you didn't get any SEC wins. You dropped 2 of your non-conference. One, Toledo back in 2024. I'll say this. I've always liked Jeff Candle when he was there, and I thought he had some really good football teams. And I think Toledo was a pretty good team. Mississippi State, an SEC school, shouldn't be losing to Toledo at home.
Not by 24 points.
It's just a MAC school. Even Kentucky, they'll go in and they'll mess around with some MAC schools and win by a touchdown, but they win. That's the thing, is they win. So you can't go in and lose that game that year. So it was rough. Last year, I think it was more, instead of anger and frustration with the program, I think it was more heartbreak, as you mentioned, there were several games that you looked at last year. There were 2 overtime games that, play here goes one way, play here goes another way. They upset Tennessee. They upset Texas. I mean, those are some big boys that you would go in, and at that point you're at sitting there 7 wins, and you're thinking really good. You're like, man, we're on the right track. I still think they are. I still think they've gotten themselves on the right track, but it's still, you finish with 5 wins. You only got into a bowl game last year because 12 teams in front of you opted out, one of them being Auburn not accepting the bowl bid, and you got to go play up in what was it, the Duke's Mayo Bowl they got to play in last year. And so there's some positivity there. It's been rough, but there's some positivity to come into this year. It's just, I think the biggest thing to say about this team is, you've got to show the improvement this year, and they've got a rough schedule to have to do it against.
Yeah, we'll go over that in the 5 o'clock hour. I think here's the thing. The record is 7-18, and there's just no other way around it. That's terrible. It just is. The context here is that I feel that at least there is progression from year 1 to year 2. I think in some ways, when you take over a program in your first year, there is a reset. And sometimes that record, depending on where you were and where you have historically been, sometimes that reset can be jarring. And that's where Mississippi State was, because 2-10 is nobody's standard. Not a single team that plays FBS football, 2-10 is their standard. Nobody.
Except for UMass.
I'd hope not, but I can't disprove you. They are terrible. And so when you see a 2-10, there's just no world where you're good with that. And even as tragic as the circumstances were, they had Zach Arnett fill in the next year, and he went 5-7, and people already knew enough after that year to say Zach Arnett was not ready for this, and he's not our guy. And I thought that was very proactive of Mississippi State. I think it was telling. I think it was fair. And I think it was a Dan Mullen plus Mike Leach combination. I know that in between was Moorhead, but those 2 guys proved, yes, you don't have to be a doormat, and you can win 8 games, and you can be competitive, and you can ring the cowbell and not annoy your own players enough for them to suck. and so the thing is that, if you're 7-18 right after Sylvester Croom, then you're having a different conversation. You're saying that's where we were, because Sylvester Croom had a bunch of 3-2 win teams before his penultimate year where he won 8 and then regressed back to 4 and got fired. So if you're coming after Croom, you're like 2-5 is actually a really positive sign. If you're thinking of Dan Mullen and Mike Leach, you think 7 wins in 2 years is gross. And so what I think is so important to consider with Mississippi State is, where are they today in 2026? Not about the expectations for Jeff Levy, but the expectations for who you are as a program. And I talked yesterday when talking about Arkansas. No one in this country, not even in Power 4 football as the quote doormat, should you settle for not making bowl games. Okay? You are past the time where the Vandy's of the world say 5-7's fine with us. There's too much money, there's too many ways to improve, and there's too much roster movement to say we're okay with 4-8 and some 5-7s. And so what Mississippi State has to determine, and it does not have to be this year, but is the best we can realistically do in a 9-game schedule, is that 6-6? Is that just making some bowls and understanding we might have a 7-5 one year and a 5-7 next year, and it's going to average to 6-6? Because again, no one should ever expect less than that now, but someone will have to expect that, because someone's going to have to be in the bottom and someone's going to lose a bunch of conference games. And it concerns me that Mississippi State has won 1 SEC game in 2 years under Jeff Levy, and now they've got to play an extra SEC game. And they play a very losable non-conference game because, again, they play a Power 4 team. And I know they beat Arizona State last year. Arizona State had a ton of injury problems, and they were surprised and maybe a little hungover from the year before where they made the playoff. Minnesota is a solid team. What Minnesota does is they are physical, and if you're not ready to play, then they're going to surprise you with their physicality, and you'll lose to them. And State can't lose their non-conference games 2026 and beyond and make bowl games. That's just can't be negotiable. And so as I close this hour and close the thought process on Jeff Lebby, is what State has to determine with Lebby is if they go 5-7 this year, does it still warrant one more year because of where they're coming from? Because they should not accept 5-7 forever, and that's what they were last year. And they actually went 5-8 because they did play a bowl game at 5-7. But is 5-7 fair this year, not as a permanent solution, but because that actually in a 9-game schedule would actually show some improvement, because you would have had to have won at least 2 conference games when you've only won 1 in 2 years prior. That's something Mississippi State will have to consider. We're going to consider our final commercial break here this hour. When we come back in hour number 3, we'll get back into Mississippi State. We'll look at that schedule. We'll tell you how attainable 5 to 6 wins is and what to watch out for on Mississippi State's roster. A little bit later in the 5 o'clock hour, we will play that interview with Chuck Oliver, our last interview that we're replaying from last week's SEC Media Days, and to conclude the program, a brief what to watch for over the weekend. This is the Friday edition of Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
2 hours of Sports Call are finished. Don't touch that radio dial. We've got 1 more hour to go.
Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory is here for you when you need us. With locations in Lee, Chambers, and Tallapoosa counties, serving the people of East Alabama and West Georgia since 1900. A family-owned and operated business, skip the hassle of the big corporate mortuaries. Our kind, compassionate team members are standing by to assist your family in the hardest of times. An on-site crematory, private cemetery, and a choice of facilities makes Frederick Dean unique. Visit us at frederickdean.com.
Already planning for some fun in the sun? Don't forget to fill your cooler with the smooth and refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. And with 5% alcohol, Twisted Tea is there to turn things up all day long. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for it in the bright yellow cans. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to important money matters, you matter most. At Mid-South Bank, we're a place for you to put your loyalty and trust. That's why we offer products and services to make your banking chores easy and convenient for both your business and your personal needs. Come in today at 519 East Glen Avenue or visit bankmidsouth.com to find out what the friendliest, most helpful bank in town can do for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
TK's Convenience Stores, your gotta-have headquarters. You know, those things you just gotta have, but don't have time to waste in one of those huge pack stores. Nope, at TK's, we have your gotta-have items with no hassle, along with great customer service, high-quality items, and clean stores. So whether you need a 6-pack of your favorite beverage, milk, gasoline, or some cash from the ATM, TK's has it just minutes from you. TK's Convenience Stores, now with 17 locations to better serve you. Always there when you need us.
Hi, I'm Darren with Master Graphics and Light and Screen Printing. At Master Graphics, we can help you take your event or company promotion to the next level with custom apparel screen printed right here in Auburn. We have a huge selection of brands like Comfort Colors, Gildan, and Bella Canvas. And at Master Graphics, you work with our in-house artists to bring your vision to life. Let our team help make your business, school event, or family gathering a success with custom apparel from Master Graphics. Stop by and see us today at 175 South Gay Street or give us a call at 887-8755.
When it's extremely hot or cold, your heating and cooling system has to work almost nonstop to keep you comfortable. To give your system a work break and save money, Raise your thermostat to 78 degrees in the summer and lower it to 65 degrees in the winter. Your wallet and your system will thank you. Brought to you by Tallapoosa River Electric Cooperative.
Memories are priceless. That mom's trip you've been talking about, flights, hotel, concert tickets, not so much. But that's where Max Credit Union comes in. Whether it's a weekend getaway with friends, front row concert tickets, or finally taking that trip without the kids in tow, Max has lending tools to help make it happen. Go make the memories. We got the rest. Max Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply for qualified borrowers.
Let Honey Baked Ham be your hero for all of your family gatherings. Our Honey Baked Ham is the star, but don't forget the sides. From creamy casseroles to mouth-watering desserts, Honey Baked Ham Company has everything you need to complete your celebration. Indulge in Honey Baked Ham's delicious, perfectly baked sides and decadent desserts. Just the right touch for any feast. Make your next meal easy, delicious, and unforgettable with Honey Baked Ham. Pre-order all of your favorites today or visit us at 1451 Gateway Drive in Opelika. Honey Baked Ham, where every meal is a memory.
As America's #1 retail mortgage lender, Cross Country Mortgage is built on teamwork, service, and community. In Auburn, we're committed to making every mortgage experience feel personal, simple, and successful. Because when you win, we all win.
TK's Convenience Stores are your one-stop shop from Auburn to the Lake and Tallahassee to Tuskegee. Offering friendly service in a clean environment, there is sure to be a TK's located near you. Stop by on your way to and from work or school and pick up everything you need, from beer, soft drinks, and fresh hot coffee to food, snacks, and ice cream. Plus, automotive and household products, pet food, and an ATM in every store. Just look for the orange and blue Starburst sign and stop by your local TK store today. TK's Convenience Stores, they're your one-stop shop.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn.
This is the Tiger Communications Sports Report brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. I'm Brooks Childress. Back in March, Auburn equestrian senior Caroline Buchanan, junior Avery Glenn, and sophomore Ariana Marnell were named Southeastern Conference Riders of the Month in March by the league. Buchanan was recognized for her efforts in reining, picking up her first of the season and second of her career. Glenn secured recognition on the flat for the second time this season, and Marnell was honored in fences for the first time in her career. All three riders won their matchups in the final regular season meet, with Buchanan earning Most Outstanding Performer. The Atlanta Braves held firm in this week's edition of MLB Power Rankings from ESPN. The Braves stayed at number 3 in the league following a week that saw them win a series on the road against the Baltimore Orioles and drop their division road series 2-1 to the New York Mets. Atlanta still trails the Dodgers and the Brewers in the rankings, but still sit atop the NL East, with the next team being the Phillies, who stayed at 7 this week. The Braves continue their series against the Washington Nationals tonight, and you can hear all the action on AM 1230 WAUD. And Christina Ulbrich, the wife of Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, died from cancer Thursday, the team announced. The Falcons posted a statement on X calling Christina, quote, a devoted wife, mother, and friend whose strength, grace, and resilience touched all who knew her. Jeff had not been with the Falcons this week at the start of training camp due to a personal matter. For all the latest news from Atlanta Falcons training camp, keep it tuned to the airwaves of Tiger Communications. I'm Brooke Childers, and this is Major Tiger Communications Sports Report brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union.
Auburn University Credit Union has partnered with Care Humane Society for the AUCU CARES debit card. It's free to you, and each time you swipe the card, AUCU makes a donation on your behalf. It's a win-win. For more information, visit myaucu.org. AUCU is federally insured by the NCUA and an equal opportunity lender.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9 FM, WTGZ Tuskegee, Auburn. Whether you're leaving work, cruising around town, or listening on demand, we've still got some fun left for you. To be part of the show, give us a call at 334-887-3401 locally or toll free at 1-888-9-TIGER-9. Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show has been on the air since 1995 and is ready for 60 more minutes of fun. Now, let's get this hour of Sports Call started.
Third and final hour of Sports Call beginning right now. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app. My name is Ryan Lavoie. Again, I'm joined by Connor Knight and Brooks Childress today. A big shout out to Jared Dillard. He is helping produce, or he is not helping, he is producing the program for us so that we can get it live on YouTube and Facebook today. So big thank you to Jared for that. We are live in studio for the first time. We've been live on location, also courtesy of Jared a lot the last couple of weeks. And then other select times we have been also, but now we are live on YouTube and Facebook inside of our Auburn Bank studios. And now Brooks can't get away with joining the program a few seconds late. He's on camera and is sneaking in last second. So, you know,
absence is noted. Yeah.
I could have hid that from the listening audience, but
not
I was kind of hoping that Jared, because Jared's professional, so he didn't put the camera on, so it was just you two. But I was hoping he would put it on the 3 box. We could make the joke that I did, in fact, get fired mid-show.
Somebody had to go out there and talk to him, talk to Brooks.
Yeah.
Put the hand on the shoulder.
Yeah, hey man, that was your last hour of Sports Call. Yeah. In this last hour of Sports Call for the month of July, by the way, going to start out with Mississippi State here and finish them off, and then we will play that Chuck Oliver interview for you around 5:20 or so, and then we'll conclude the program with what to watch for over the weekend. So again, last segment we began talking about the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, picked 15th in the SEC. And we assessed Jeff Lebby and the state of the program so far. So before we get to the schedule real quickly, roster-wise, you heard us talk about Camario Taylor a good bit in Tampa. He got some run for the Bulldogs last year when it was not Blake Shapen, and literally he ran the football very effectively, nearly 500 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. I think people very excited about at least the legs of Camario Taylor. Did throw about 70 or 80 pass attempts, not as effective as a passer in the sample size we saw. Again, I would just note as a whole, Mississippi State did improve by about 5 points a game last season as an offense and about 25 yards per game. Defense got better. Defense gave up 34 points a game in year one under Jeff Lebby, which is just awful, just terrible. It was still bad last year, 30 points a game, but you saw improvement, both sides of the ball, about 4 to 5 points a game. If they can do that again, get to about 34 offensively, about 26 defensively, you're going to talk about a team that makes a bowl game on their merit of 6 wins. But again, roster-wise, they're going to be Camario Taylor or bust. And, you know, they return a few key defensive players. They do. It's not atrocious. It's actually probably about average. For this day and age, maybe even a smidge above average when you have coaching continuity. But, you know, Mississippi State's, done a fair job, top 25, top 30 in recruiting. It's just that when you compare all that to the SEC, it just never really stands out.
I was looking at this quarterback room, and I was looking, and, obviously we talk about Camario Taylor. I was like, who's behind him? And I start going through, and I'm like, well, that name, AJ Swan, sounds familiar. Because he was at Vanderbilt before Diego Pavia got there. He threw for 1,400 yards his second year at Vanderbilt. Then he went to LSU for a year, didn't play really, and then went to App State. It was at App State last year, threw for 1,400 yards. And then behind him is Jaden Rashada. And if folks aren't familiar with Jaden Rashada, he is that very, very highly touted quarterback that was going to Florida, or initially committed to Miami. Florida threw $1 billion of NIL money at him. Then he's like, no, actually, I'm going to leave. And they were suing each other and suing the Billy Napier coach Florida team. And he left there, and he's been just all over the place. And finally,
was it Arizona State?
Arizona State for a moment. And then last year he was at Sacramento State. And then he's popped up here at Mississippi State. I'm like, what is this quarterback room?
Yeah.
There's just a ton of stuff in there.
My player that I think might pop off for Mississippi State is going to be Fluff Bothwell. I think
Fluff.
Yeah.
Fluff.
Yeah.
All SEC name team for sure, but had 832 yards in his first season in 2024 and had a bit of a regressing season last year. But I think that was partly because he was so like the main focus of the offense when it came to running the ball for that Mississippi State team, that their first really bad season, that you got some of the focus that second season. So I think maybe he can have a bounce back year and have a big year and be one of the names that you mentioned when they make a bowl game.
And they brought back an 800-yard receiver, Anthony Evans, and he was actually the number 2. They had a 1,000-yard receiver last year, and to have 2 over 800 in the college game means you chucked it around a little bit, or you certainly relied on a top-heavy dynamic there. But Anthony Evans coming back will be moral of the story is they've got a number 1 receiver, they've got a number 1 running back, and they've got a quarterback they like. So if you're talking about an offensive head coach building an offense, it's being built, and you can see the vision for what they're trying to do there. You always have questions on the offensive line. And like I said, giving up 30 points a game is not tenable for any team. I don't even know if 2019 LSU gets away with 30 points a game every single game on defense. So, that has to be markedly better again. Let's look at the schedule. And as we always do, we want to do ceiling and floor, and then we'll come to a final tally. So they start with ULM. Week 2 is their Power 4 non-conference game at Minnesota. Week 3, their SEC opener at South Carolina. They then come home to take on Missouri, then Alabama. Bye week, go to LSU, so Lane Kiffin against his old rival against Mississippi State. Play Oklahoma for homecoming. And I always want to mention the homecoming game because some people are kind of like, it's one of the other things that's changed. You used to schedule Directional State University for homecoming so that you could win it. With less non-conference inventory and particular dates needing to be, homecoming is just when you would like people to show up to your game that are alumni.
Let's have a good time.
It does not mean you will win the game. Mississippi State's playing Oklahoma for homecoming.
Gonna be barred.
They will then go to Texas the month of November. They host Vandy. They host Auburn. They host Tennessee Tech, and they go to Ole Miss. And again, I know the Auburn game is not one we'd like to see them win, but if you're a Mississippi State fan, you do look at that and say, that's a very attainable month for us. Vandy, Auburn at home, you get your Tennessee Tech win, and then, of course, the Egg Bowl you knew was going to happen no matter what. That ain't a bad month, but it's how you get there and who you are. And again, they won 5 last year. So what's the ceiling and floor for Mississippi State?
For me, the floor is, I think, 2 wins. I can see this team having 2 wins. Just they have a pretty rough schedule when it comes to the SEC opponents, even with the favorite ones, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Auburn still are very losable for Mississippi State. But I just don't see them losing to ULM or Tennessee Tech. That is a fireable offense for Levy for sure. If that happens again, I think you're gone. You're done. No more coaching Mississippi State. And then ceiling, I think 6 or 7 wins. I'm going to go 7. I think they can ULM, Minnesota, South Carolina. I think there's a chance with Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee Tech or Auburn. One of those 2 interchangeable. So I think 7 is the ceiling for this Mississippi State team.
Brian, do you want me to do it?
Do it.
Well, Connor, Nick Saban lost to ULM, and he was the greatest football coach of all time. So
they can lose to ULM.
They can lose to ULM and still be all right. It's my floor. I'm with you on the floor. I think floor is 2 and 10. I think they beat ULM. I think they beat Tennessee Tech easily. Everyone else, there is a world that I can see happening. Obviously, I can see him, going up and beating Minnesota. Shane Beamer, I don't know. We don't know. We haven't gotten to South Carolina yet. Don't know what they're going to look like fully this year, but that's early enough in the year that they've got, a lot of hope. They need a lot of wins. And so that's a game you can get them. Obviously, Missouri, Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas are teams that we expect to be toward the top of the SEC, middle to top of the SEC. Vanderbilt's a team that, what are they going to look like post Diego Pavia? They still have high expectations. Auburn, if we mentioned it just a minute ago, but Auburn's a team that, that we think of, you were talking about this is a winnable stretch for Mississippi State. That's in the middle of Auburn's winnable stretch too.
Yes.
That's in Auburn's winnable stretch. And then Ole Miss on the road in Oxford against a Trinidad Chambliss team that you saw them when they lose that game last year, 38-19 at home. So that's one that it's difficult to see. So 2 and 10 is my floor. My ceiling, it's tough. If this was the NFL and I look at last year's schedule for them, it's easy for me to sit here and look at an NFL schedule and say you lost these one score games, just say, hey, it's probably not, odds are it's not going to happen 2 years in a row to an NFL team, unless you're, the Browns or somebody at the bottom. Flip some of those. Like you say, flip some of those one-loss games. I'm tempted to do that here and say there's, if you get into one score games against a big time opponent, that this Mississippi State team could flip that. So I think my ceiling for them is an 8-win year. I think if I'm looking at it for me, beat ULM, beat Tennessee Tech, there's 2, beat Minnesota, there's 3, beat South Carolina, there's 4. I'll say beat Vanderbilt, there's 5. Now the ones that I'm going here and picking off, the last 3 would be beat Auburn, beat a Missouri team, and then pick off one of the Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, or Ole Miss. Pick off somebody in there, because you were so close to doing it to Tennessee and Texas last year. 2 overtime games. You almost got it done against Florida. I know Florida's wasn't one of the top teams last year, but almost were able to do it against Florida too. So there was 3 games in that stretch in the middle of that season that they had a chance to win. So that's why I say ceiling. You show that you have the ability to play with those guys last year. I know this year's team and last year's team are different, but if you pick off one of those, I think 8 wins is a attainable ceiling for this team.
I'm glad you went with a different ceiling, just so that we all 3 did not say the exact same thing.
Excellent.
Because I am on the Connor 2-win floor, 7-win ceiling plan. Here's the thing with State, though, and you alluded to it with the Auburn stretch. I'll go one step further. This is formatted exactly like Auburn's.
Yes.
The first 4 games are very doable. Now, again, the difference is we think Auburn will be better than Mississippi State, so we don't necessarily say State will start 4-0. But those are 4 winnable games. There is a world where Mississippi State does start 4-0. It's a world that is unlikely, but it's in there. Their month of October sucks, but they have their bye week, the exact same bye week Auburn has, by the way, October the 10th. But their 4 October games are Alabama, at LSU, at Texas, and host Oklahoma. And that's 4 losses. And I think no matter what, that's 4 losses. Really, for me, the question of a ceiling is, can they win the Egg Bowl? And they beat Lane Kiffin one year in Oxford. But that was the Mike Leach year.
Yeah, it was.
And that was the really good Mike Leach year, the 9-win Mike Leach
where he was throwing 500 yards a game.
And I just lean towards on the road, they're not going to do it. If it was in Davis Wade and their best case scenario, I'd like it more. But I just talked about, Mississippi State's defense is coming from a rough place.
Yep.
Well, I don't like the odds of them slowing down Kejuan Lacey and Trinidad Chambliss and that offense, no matter who's running that offense, coordinating that offense. So that's where I go to the 7, because I am pretty firm that they're not going to beat Alabama. They're not going to go beat Kiffin because it's in Baton Rouge. They're not going to surprise Oklahoma, and they're not going to go to Texas. And even with those close games, because, again, as you mentioned, Brooks, I mean, they did take Texas to overtime. I think Texas will be better this year. And I also think Texas on the road is different than in Starkville. The key is those teams just not saying, oh, it's Mississippi State, this is a bye week for us. That's really their key. They will not be as good as those teams. That what they're preying on is that someone's not going to take them seriously, not going to play to the best of their abilities, play down to level opponent, and it maybe is early enough to where Mississippi State can surprise someone because of that.
It's unfortunate for Mississippi State that they don't get Kentucky or Arkansas this year.
Yes, and that's the point I made about Arkansas yesterday. There is no round robin of teams we think will not be any good.
Yep.
There's no Arkansas, Kentucky. There's no Arkansas, Mississippi State. There's no Mississippi State, Kentucky. That means when we get to Kentucky on Monday, Kentucky's not playing these 2 teams. Quote, the weakest team theoretically on a piece of paper that these teams are playing are Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt on the other side of it is like, we can take advantage of this because we're playing Mississippi State.
Yeah,
we're playing
Curtis,
Arkansas.
you can
cook. So Vandy says that's a great opportunity for us. And it feels like one of the only opportunities for Mississippi State and Arkansas. The last thing I'll say, then I want to get the final record prediction for you guys. As of right now, you are welcome to change it when we get to the conference preview as a whole the week before the season. But the last thing I want to say, too, is that there was not actually a whole lot of difference between Arkansas and Mississippi State last year. And I know that sounds weird because State went 5-7, Arkansas went 2-10. But remember I mentioned yesterday Arkansas lost 6 one-possession games. Well, Mississippi State played in 6 one-possession games, and they went 3-3. Arkansas lost them all. So what happens if you go 3-3 and you're Arkansas in one-possession games? You're 5-7, which is what Mississippi State was pre the bowl invite for needing an extra team or two. So they've already done the work of winning close games, and that's part of having a coach for a second season, not a first season. So there's only a little room to improve, because if State starts going 6-0 in one-possession games, then I'm going to have an irrationally good Mississippi State team on my hand. Whereas Arkansas just needs to win a couple of the one-possession games, and that would be a whole lot of improvement. But final record prediction for you guys. What you got?
I think Mississippi State's going to go 5-7. I think they're going to rattle off the first 3 wins, then they're going to lose the next 4, beat Vanderbilt, lose to Auburn, beat Tennessee Tech, and then lose in the Egg Bowl. And I think it's just going to be kind of another kind of season when they're scratching their head going, did we improve? Because it's kind of what would happen last year.
I'm going to go slight improvement from their record last year. I'm going to say 6-6. I did like what they did last year. I think Jeff Levy's got them on the right track, but that track is a very slow one because of the SEC and their schedule. I'm with you. I think those first 3 they rattle off. I think then they get Vanderbilt, Tennessee Tech. Let's see. That's where did I have that? That's at 5 right now. I think they either get. I do my math right. 1, 2, 3. 4. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. So they rattle the first 3 off. They get Vanderbilt, they get Tennessee Tech, and they get they pull an upset with either Auburn or Missouri. Either they get it early and start 4-0 before the Alabama game, or they get it late against an Auburn team that may not be playing how we would like them to play. And so I think 6-6 this year is my final prediction.
I hate to be Debbie Downer.
Do it.
But I set the stage for this when I said everyone's got a 9th game now. And there's 8 more losses in the league this year, period. End of discussion. Mississippi State's not going to be one of those that picks up an extra win or keeps the win. They're going to pick up an extra loss. I got them at 4-8 this year. Now, I have them with 2 SEC wins because I voted them 14th, not 15th, like I did Kentucky. I think they'll start 2-2, and I think that they will probably beat South Carolina. Which is a what? Yeah. But I have when we get to South Carolina, I think they're going to crash and burn a little bit this year. And
South Carolina's been so
they'll beat somebody else. I don't want to commit to it. I don't want to tell you it's Auburn. I don't want to tell you it's Vandy. But I think they're 2-2 to start.
It's because Ryan wants to say one of the schools in the middle.
I don't. I'm very clear they will not beat any of those teams. I hope they beat Alabama. They will not do such a thing.
Hey, Alabama's looking forward to Georgia that week. So
that's right.
True.
Looking ahead.
And it is in Stark Vegas. But I think it's a 4-8 team. I think they definitely beat ULM and Tennessee Tech, and they only get 2 P4 wins. And I lean that their conference wins. I don't know. It's also possible, though, that even at 14th, you could have 3 1-8 teams in the league. That would not shock me. And then it's just about tiebreakers, and I can say that that's how they got 14th. I know they beat Arizona State. I have a bad feeling for them at Minnesota. That is going to be a contrast of styles.
Minnesota's such a weird place to play.
It is.
Here's my argument as a proprietor of Minnesota football.
North Carolina play there last year, and it was like a slog fest.
It was a yucky
game.
Yeah,
it was disgusting.
2 years ago. Yeah, they played a head-to-head or home and home.
That's what it
2
was.
and 3 years ago.
Here's as a proprietor of Minnesota football. Here's the thing about the Gophers is they're going to finish 7 to 8 wins.
Right.
That Power 4 opponent is going to be one they struggle with.
Yeah.
Because you look at the last 3 years, at North Carolina lost, hosted North Carolina lost, at Cal last year lost that game.
Yeah.
They don't like to play these they don't get along with the Power 4 teams that they get in the non-con.
So yeah, then I still won't change Mississippi State's win total. Fine. They will lose to both South Carolina and Missouri. Fine.
Got them.
So still 4-8. I still think they're taking an extra L and not making a bowl game, and they're going to have tough conversations about Jeff Levy afterwards. All right, we need to take our first time out here of the 5 o'clock hour. When we come back, we will re-air our final interview from last week. It is with Chuck Oliver. He is the king of college football, and you can hear him on our sister station, AM 1230 WAUD. We play that interview next on the Friday edition of the Sports Call, Tiger 95.9.
Want to know how easy it is to listen to our show? All you have to do with your Amazon smart device is say, Alexa, play Sports Call Auburn.
Weather brought to you by Auburn University Credit Union. Looking for the best credit card rate in town? The rate on Auburn University Credit Union's MasterCard starts at 7.9% APR. That's right, 7.9% APR. For more information or to apply, visit one of their 3 locations or myaucu.org. Annual percentage rate. Auburn University Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender.
Final day of the month of July. We'll see high temperatures in the low to mid 90s. We'll see mostly sunny skies and hardly any shower and thunderstorm activity in those afternoon hours. Only about 10% of the area seeing any rain. Lows will be in the mid 70s. The rain story will change, though, for the weekend. Saturday, we'll see us getting pretty widespread activity for showers and thunderstorms. And some spots that get hit multiple times could see an inch plus of rain. A few spots will not see rain, but most of the area will. And it could be heavy at times. Because of this, high temperatures only in the low to mid 80s with lows in the low 70s. I'm Ryan Lavoie for your Tiger Communications weather update.
It's heating up at Suns Ford in Auburn with the hottest sale of the year. Now's the time to save big on a huge selection of new Ford trucks, SUVs, and cars. Whether you're looking for a rugged F-150, a family-friendly Explorer, or a fuel-efficient Escape, you'll find incredible deals waiting for you. Don't let these summer savings pass you by. Visit Suns Ford in Auburn today or shop online at sunsford.com and pick the Ford you've been wanting at a price you'll love. Suns Ford in Auburn, where the hottest deals of the year are happening now.
At Cross Country Mortgage in Auburn, we believe every mortgage should feel like a win. As America's #1 retail mortgage lender, our team comes together with one focus: you. Whether you are buying your first home or planning your next move, we're here to help you get it done.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
Good friends, great conversations, and one perfectly poured glass. That's the kind of moment Stella Artois is made for. Tonight, slow things down and savor the ritual, the crisp taste, the perfect pour, and the little details that turn ordinary moments into something unforgettable. So go ahead, pour it right. Raise your glass and enjoy every sip. Stella Artois, perfection served.
TK's Convenience Stores have a brand new look. That's right. Look for the red, white, and blue. It's Arco, American-owned top-tier gasoline, now at select TK's locations. Need great gas at a great price? TK's and Arco have you covered with the best price gas in town. American-made fuel for you and your family. So roll into your neighborhood TK's today, where TK's and Arco are as American as apple pie.
Want more Sports Call? Check us out online at sportscallauburn.com.
Welcome
back to Sports Call here on Tiger 95.9. We are in Tampa, Florida, SEC Media Days 2026. Ryan Lavoie, Brooks Childress with you here. We are pleased to be on our sister station, 1230 WAUD, an affiliate of the Chuck Oliver Show, and we welcome in the man himself, the king of college football, Chuck Oliver, the program. Chuck, how are you doing today?
I am so happy to be here. This is like it lets me know, oh, I'm on with Auburn again. Okay, the season's about to start. So every year, Media Days, we do this, and I always look forward to it.
And every year we certainly appreciate it. So let's talk about the Tigers. Obviously, a couple coaching changes in the last few years, and now they've arrived at Alex Golesh. Where do you believe the Tigers can realistically get to here in year number one? And just what have you thought about the initial months of Alex Golesh?
This is not a real question to me. I can't believe how I'm about to answer this. I think they can go to a bowl. Like, when in my lifetime was that supposed to be like coming out the mouth of an Auburn grad, fan, supporter, even just an observer? Is it 5 losing seasons in a row now?
Since 2020.
That's not a real thing. And you got into that window and suddenly you looked around and you're like, what in the world's happened to our program? Here's the weird thing I've said to people. Everything except the wins. Like, if you walk around on game day, all right, it's sold out. It's a big environment. I see good-looking players that everybody wanted to recruit. The facilities, like, everything's top-notch except the wins. I think it will come more this year. You had Jackson Arnold last year, who was, I think when he came out of high school, the number 3 quarterback in America. You had Cam Coleman, like all these, right? It just never worked. If you have a quarterback who's hesitant, if you have a quarterback who's honestly limited skill-wise, and that may have been some of Peyton Thornton, if you have that, there's a ceiling in the SEC and kind of a hard one. I don't know the Byron Brown. I mean, can you lead college football in touchdowns in a season and have a ceiling? I don't think you do. The hand in a glove nature of how he works with his head coach and so much of that other imported talent, I think it's Auburn's turn to kind of, skip the line a little bit, get that fast forward. And the fans, it's been a minute for them.
Something that I think is very unique, and I want to get your perspective on it for this coaching change with Alex Golesh, is there's a sense of a strong continuity for a first-year head coach, because you've got Golesh bringing a lot of his staff from USF and a lot of his players over, and then you have the defensive coordinator with DJ Durkin already being at Auburn for a couple years. That feels like a lot of a rare thing that you see that type of continuity with the first-year head coach in a program.
Yeah, wasn't it like Ohio State whispered DJ Durkin and then put double the salary, like a big raise for DJ? But he's a heck of a coach too, and I know which way he wants to go. He wants to go that way where the quarterback is. Like, let's go hit that guy. He's capable, he's skilled, he's experienced, all of that stuff, and he's got a lot of talent. I want to know I want to know maybe who the pass rush is going to be. When you have Keldrick Falk, it's kind of easy to say, there's my pass rush. He walked around media days last year. I was like, yep. I don't know that we've identified that guy yet. I want to know about the pass rush, but, man, those linebackers. When's the last time we talked about Auburn may have the best in the SEC at, and then you fill in something on defense? They could have the best linebackers in the SEC this year. And it's not just Atkins either. It's DeMarcus coming back. It's depth. It's the young guys, Menendez from last year. Get to the secondary as well. So I'm really, really fired up about Durkin, and as you said, the continuity, as well as all the imports from the same place who already know each other from Tampa.
That's why it's made it kind of hard for us to quantify which side of the ball should theoretically be better this year, because I feel that you could make arguments for either side. Do you have an inkling of which side of the ball should be better this year?
Gosh, I wish tell me what the offensive line is going to be.
Sure.
Because I have been buying in what was it, maybe 19 or 20 or 1 year, it was like, well, we're all old. Like, everybody's old now on the offensive line. I was like, yeah, but are they good? I don't know if it's a stretch. November of 2017, is that the last time you saw a real Auburn offensive line?
We believe so.
They beat 2 number ones in like 15 days. That's been a minute, and that was Auburn for about 20 years before that. So I want to say that the offensive line, it'll cohese, and that'll kind of lead the way. It's the one thing I can't coach around. It really is. We saw that last year. If the offensive line is a colander, you really got no chance. And so I need to see the offensive line work now. If that's in place, Auburn will contend, not for the SEC, but for a lot more than they have been.
Last year at SEC Media Days, we talked to you about what the future of the SEC scheduling could be and what would happen with some of the rivalries. We got that answer over this past year, where it's a 9-game conference schedule, and you're not necessarily playing everybody that you used to play, but you've got the rotation where you're going to be everywhere every 2 years. What is your thoughts on how the SEC has kind of folded this out?
You trust those scoundrels in the Big 12 or Big 10? Because didn't they say if we move to 9, we could get together on the playoff bracket? Y'all don't play but 8 games. If you move to 9, we'll be happy with that. SEC moves to 9. The first thing they say, 24 teams in the playoffs. And Sankey's like, wait a minute. You told us it was the 9-game thing that you wanted to get on board with. It's a massive – Jeff Lebby's going to get fired this year, I think, because of the 9th game. Like, that literally is the difference between him. And, by the way, they're getting better. It's a better product. I did the Arizona State-Mississippi State game last year. I was looking around. I was like, I don't know how many wins this is going to equal. They're better. Texas, Tennessee. They got Billy fired, didn't they? Billy Napier. So it's a better product. I don't know how many more wins it's going to equal because, again, you're dropping that 9th game on them. They're an example of a program. I don't want to say scheduling dubs, but at least not scheduling a giant roadblock for you. Remember the old like Houston Nut teams at Arkansas? You'd play them. You'd beat them maybe, but then you'd feel it for like 3 weeks. That's the kind of scenario I'm talking about when you add that 9th game.
Well, and Chuck, too, I mean, I feel like this is going to be a bit of a rhetorical question because we know fans in the SEC, but is there going to have to be some sort of an adjustment for what quantifies as a quality season?
Absolutely. What I've never heard someone say in my entire life, I just don't think we're going to have an undefeated NFL team this year. I would look at them and go, no kidding. Like we're not supposed to have. The more games we keep adding, I still hear a little bit of that. I just don't know if we'll ever have another undefeated team. Well, so what? You just adjust what the top level is. The top level used to be 11-0, and then it's 12-0, and then it's 13-0. We just keep moving it. And so at that point, if you have a team that, like the national champ, plays 16 games, and there's a chance you could play 17, there really is. You're not going undefeated. And for us to always say, we used to say 10 wins. Now we're looking at the number of losses and go, how'd you have 4 losses? Well, I also won 12. It's a real recalibration of that number. So you're right about that. Win 10 games, but did we make the playoffs?
I got to take it off the beaten path here like I do every single year because I continue to say it every single year when we have you on. Your home station, 680 The Fan in Atlanta. Y'all do a fantastic job with the extra content, not just what you do on the air, but with Win Chuck's Braves cards, one of my favorite segments. Yeah. So I've got to ask you.
We got one coming up next week, by the way.
I'll be tuned in.
Tops. I'll go ahead and can I give you the inside? Yes. Tops tier 1.
Ooh. So I got to ask you, so far this year, from SEC Media Days to this SEC Media Days, what's the best card you've pulled?
Did you see the rookie for the A's that just injured himself on the foul ball the other day?
Yes. Yeah. Fractured what.
Yes. Yeah. I pulled the 1 of 1.
Wow.
This gold superfractor. Wow. And he's like the A's 3rd best prospect, and now he's up in the bigs. And so I got the gold 1 of 1. That's been one of them. Personally, I'm obviously a huge Braves fan. Do you collect pristine?
A little bit.
It's expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm the same thing. I collect a little bit of it. We opened the box, got an Austin Riley on-card autograph, and an Ozzie Albies autograph relic.
Ooh.
And so just happening to be a Braves fan and you get both of those, I mean, it would have been awesome if they were Cardinals or Cubs or whatever, but the fact that they were there, that they were Braves, it was probably the best.
Did it feel bad that you had to give it away? Or
I was happy about it, honestly, and I was because I'm a pretty selfish person. I was expecting it to kind of break my heart a little bit, but I was like, man, this is so much fun. Yeah. Because I realized, I always thought I wanted the cards. I realized I like opening the cards. Like that's a juice too.
It's the big reveal.
It is, absolutely.
Talking to Chuck Oliver here on this edition of Sports Call Live from Tampa, Florida. Chuck, again, when we look at the league as a whole this year, we always are enamored by how many teams make the playoffs. We're always enamored by the teams with great expectations. Who has the highest set of expectations this year?
Texas, because
is it championship or bust for them?
I want to say yes, but I don't know what bust means. Like, all right, we're going to dismantle the program. You're fired. We're not playing football anymore. To me, that's bust. I think their response to championship or bust will be to spend even more money and look at who does win the title. We saw Ohio State in the first year of the 12 team. They didn't win their conference that year, and they wound up winning the national championship. Do you remember what we found out like a month later? They said they lost $37.7 million or whatever it was. I was like, how do you lose that much money? Well, LSU's steamrolling towards that right now. So I want to say LSU, But in that, there's this little piece of everybody's brain that will at least remember it's his first year. Like there's a baked-in little tiny allowance for that. Sark, there ain't no baked-in anything. Like we have you loaded up for bear. Go get me something.
So, Chuck, my next question. We talk every year about the playoff and how to qualify for it and if it's going to get bigger or not. And I asked Commissioner Sankey earlier this week, and I said, can we actually, whether it be to stay at a number or to go to a new number, do you actually feel pretty good that we could be stable for a while and not need to have the more and the next conversation? And he said, no, not really. Not really. Is that kind of how you feel? Are we always going to be talking about the format and where to go next and that sort of thing?
We don't do that in the NFL, do we? Like, because we've realized there is a top level of there's no like 300 high school teams, 150 college teams, 32 NFL teams. There's no league above that with like 4 teams. So it's the top level football at the NFL. And when we think of the NFL, we think of an established league that over the past, I think 30 years or however long they've been in business, the NFL has slowly implemented all of these changes. College football did it in like a year and a half, and then the NCAA walked away. So that has created a lot of confusion and a really sort of different bearing for college fans. I'm all in with it. I have been a little bit like some of the most successful coaches in the game over the past few years. I just put blinders on. I start thinking about big picture. And tell me y'all's experience. Despite all the headlines and worry about what's going to happen and all the money, the on-field product the past 2 seasons, I think I've enjoyed as much as any 2 seasons of my life. It's been fab. On Saturday at 7:45, it looks the same, and it's been fantastic.
I think that's fair because I think that also, too, it provides you with opportunities nationwide where, Indiana, are we bickering under just the old BCS format or even under a 4-team? Are we bickering the last few seasons about Indiana's place just because we've never known them to be this way? Or do we get an opportunity to play a playoff and say, wait a minute, they just housed Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't an accident. This is the real deal. So I think to your point, I think that you're getting this talent spread out. You're not having as much depth with 3 or 4 schools. You're having that depth go to other places. And you're finding that the Big Ten has had a couple teams really capable at the highest level. They may not be as deep, but at the top, they've got something special. So, I think that when we're looking at the picture as a whole, I think it's doing some good things. It's just that there's also these lingering things where it's like, this gets a little bit old.
Some folks, and I've caught myself here as well, if we don't have a 13-0 national champion, was it as good of a season? Everybody had 2 or 3 losses. Was Indiana, God bless them last year, but that's going to be a rare thing. I don't think it's a lesser game. I think that, again, it's just a recalibration of our expectations. I don't think Indiana's really an exception. I think Indiana's an example. Now, they're not an example that Wake Forest can win the national championship. I'm not saying, let's hold Jake Dickert to that standard. But I don't know. SMU rang the dinner bell. Didn't they raise like $160 million in 2 days? Wake Forest got rich alum. So that's one of the things that Cignetti kind of did is, he didn't win that at Michigan State. He didn't win that at Wisconsin, like a mid to above. He won that at the singular most losing program in the history of the sport. So there's your example. I don't think it's got to be an exception anymore, though.
Several first-year SEC coaches, a lot of people point to the Kurt Cignetti having immediate success. Which of the first-year head coaches, I'll take Lane Kiffin out because he's just moving across the conference, has their team in the best position quickest for a playoff spot?
I want to say Florida. That offense terrifies me. I mean, hiding under that table sort of scary. I tell you what I've heard in Atlanta the past few years, and I'm going to say past few years. Haynes King, y'all watched him. Guy's a stud. Fearless, unbelievable speed, all that stuff. I heard the past 2 years while Haynes King was running up and down fields, hey, Aaron Philo's the kid that Buster Faulkner really likes. And so if all that was true, and he's got all the weapons he does, Jaden Ball running around, y'all see him? My God, he might be the best running.
That's not a running back.
No, that's an enforcer. He's walking around about 6'1", 235, and maybe there's some fat on his earlobes. And then they've got 2 other running backs that I might like, not as much as him, but pretty close, and all the receivers and all that stuff. So if Aaron Philo is really what I've been told. Not me. I didn't go to practice. I didn't see him, all this. Everyone who's supposed to know from Georgia Tech has said that's Buster Faulkner's quarterback. Can you imagine that Gators offense? Like Eric Singleton, who left Auburn, is he the third or fourth receiver this year maybe? That's frightening. So Florida is that, like, put a little check mark there. Plus Brad White that they brought down from Kentucky, one of the best DCs in America. That's a really scary situation down there.
He is the king of college football, Chuck Oliver, joining us today. Chuck, we certainly appreciate the time. Again, all of our listeners can listen to you on our sister station, AM 1230 WAUD. Again, we certainly appreciate the time today.
Y'all are my number one favorite station to visit with. Every single year, it's a joy. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it, Chuck. That is Chuck Oliver with us today on Sports Call.
Sports Call is on the air weekdays from 3 until 6 p.m.
If you are currently driving in a four-door sedan, roll up the windows and turn up the radio.
We're Auburn's first and Auburn's favorite sports talk show.
Check out Auburn University Credit Union's 7-month CD special. Get 4.15% APR back on a regular or IRA share certificate or 4.25% back on a 7-month jumbo and IRA share certificate. Visit myaucu.org or one of our local branches to learn more. Annual percentage rate, $2,500 minimum deposit for regular share certificates, $500 minimum deposit for IRA share certificates. Jumbo rate applies to $100,000 plus deposits. Terms and conditions apply. Rates subject to change. Visit myaucu.org/rates for current information.
Get ready, Auburn. It's the Action Jackson and Team No Chill Off-Road Birthday Bash at Boggin on the Plains, July 31st through August 2nd. 3 days of mud, music, off-roading, and non-stop chaos as off-road fans from all over come together for one epic weekend. Bring your rig, your crew, or just come watch the action fly at Boggin on the Plains. The Action Jackson and Team No Chill Off-Road Birthday Bash, July 31st through August 2nd. It's going to be loud, muddy, and absolutely unforgettable.
Presented by Jimmy's Car Stereo.
Feeling thirsty? Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea is made with thirst-quenching real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Fun to drink poolside, at the lake, or even play in the back nine. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
From the first pitch to the last out, this Atlanta Braves club plays with an intensity that has the rest of the National League on notice.
Ozzie hits one well to deep right field. At the wall now, Casey, and it's gone!
Tonight, the Division Series rolls on at Truist Park as Ozzie Albies and the Braves look for an NL East win against the Washington Nationals.
Braves baseball on AM 1230 WAUD, East Alabama's sports station.
Looking for a new fitness home? Look no further than Tiger Iron Gym in Auburn. Our fitness area spans over 20,000 square feet, providing ample space for all your workout needs. Featuring an AstroTurf training area, an extensive range of cardio equipment that will get your heart pumping, and we are one of the largest 24-hour free weight gyms in America. Worried about parking? Don't. We have you covered with tons of parking spaces so you can focus on your workout. And we are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to fit your busy schedule. Plus, we're locally owned and operated, not some big corporate gym. And you can experience all of this for just $29.99 a month with no contract. Join us today and take charge of your fitness goals. Tiger Iron Gym, South College Street in Auburn.
I'm Britt Bowen, voice of Auburn women's basketball and Auburn softball. You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 95.9.
Welcome back. Final few minutes of Sports Call for today and the week and the month as we wrap things up here. Tiger 95.9, the Tiger.fm, and the Tiger Communications app, and also, after the fact, Sports Call podcast presented by Coca-Cola, but also We have been streaming live on Facebook and YouTube today, and we plan on doing it moving forward. A big shout out to Jared Dillard for making that happen for us. And again, we have just a few minutes left, so thank you for joining us no matter how you have joined us here today. And again, we are excited about that moving into the month of August and turning 31 tomorrow. Not me, although I'll turn 31 next year. 31 is our age of the show.
I was going to say
tomorrow.
You went rattled through the last little bit of the day, the month, and the week, and the month. You could also, since we are turning 31 tomorrow, gone the year because another year of sports call is gone.
True.
We could.
I
have
thought
gone
I was clever by
further.
saying the month, but yeah, you're right.
We could have gone one step further.
It was a good year of sports call for sure. We plan on having another great one and again a new avenue to reach people for year number 31. All right, couple minutes left. Let's do this quickly.
Sports calls. What to watch for over the weekend?
There's nothing. You have a good weekend. I'm serious. It's tough this weekend. There is not even a NASCAR race.
I have a couple things to watch.
Okay, what you got?
Go watch The Odyssey.
Okay.
Go to a movie theater and watch The Odyssey. It is worth the watch, worth the ticket price. It is good. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yes.
Okay, so you just go watch it. Their experience it's worth the thing. He cuts the film by hand still. How many other people do that? Nobody.
Brooks, you got something?
I was given a producer's note.
Uh-huh.
Was told to mention Women's Pro Baseball League starting up this weekend. On YouTube only, even though ESPN has the rights to it, they're not putting any of it on linear television.
Not making it there.
Yeah.
There is a golf tournament, the Rocket Classic. Again, Jackson Coyven has made the cut. Not necessarily going to be in contention this weekend unless he shoots a really low number Saturday, but watch the early window coverage there. Braves will still be in action. They got the Washington Nationals. You can listen to that on AM 1230 WAUD or watch it all weekend long. And
we're wrapping up the all the open majors because we had the Open a few weeks ago. We had the Senior Open last week, and now this weekend is the Women's Open Championship over across the pond in the United Kingdom. So we're wrapping up all the open majors for the year and golf. So a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff is strong.
Is the basketball tournament still going on? Are we done with that, or is it still kind of war ready?
Jared was telling me, and he stopped caring.
Auburn War Ready is done. Yeah. Oh, championship games on Sunday. Producer note,
but it's not Team War Ready. So or Team Red Rose War Ready. Whatever.
Red Rose War Ready.
Yeah, they won a couple games this year. Good for them. They keep inching further. If we do this like 3 more years, they might win the thing. Or at least get to the final. But it's a rough weekend, friends. It just is. We are under go outside if it's not raining or too hot, or go to a movie and enjoy yourselves.
But it's the last. We are in the under a week for football to be back. Yeah. So we
do have a Hall of Fame game.
We're
next
close.
Thursday.
We're close.
Yeah, we got something.
Go pull up an old Auburn game. Go pull up an old Auburn game and watch the highlights.
Tell me twice.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, that's going to do it for us here on this Friday edition of the show. Again, appreciate everyone for tuning into the streaming version on YouTube and Facebook. Also, Connor Knight, thank you for being here, sir. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure as always.
And Brooks Childress, thank you for being here. We'll see you again next week.
I will be here.
That will do it for us here on this Friday. Again, another thank you to Jared Dillard for getting us up and running on the streaming side. And as always, we appreciate all those that tuned in and called in. For Brooks Childress and Connor Knight, my name is Ryan Lavoie. Have a great weekend, and we'll welcome you to the month of August on Monday.